afternoon and welcome to the Daily Potato Company live stream of the TSL. It's the Clarence Roos up against Glenorchy Magpies. Traditional rivals set to battle it out here at Blundstone Arena this afternoon. Not that much to play for either of the sides. Clarence very much looking to dial up for finals. They'll be looking to make sure they're humming going into there. For the Magpies, a bit more about pride and what they can get out of this season, building for next year. I'm Andrew Cooling. Joining me to call this one this afternoon, Chris Rowbottom. Good afternoon, Chris.
G'day, Drewy. Good to be here. Good to be with you. Yeah, as you say, look, let's not sugarcoat it too much. There isn't a whole heap to play for either team here, but they are traditional rivals, and each time these two teams meet, it is always worth mentioning, given that the long-standing history between the two clubs. Clarence, as you mentioned, just looking to, I guess, tick the box today, get it done, do what we expect them to do, and knock off Glenorchy, no injuries, and continue their run into finals. Glenorchy, you know, again, we won't sugarcoat it too much. They're having a pretty dark year, yet to win a game. Who knows? Who knows? Funny things can happen in footy, especially when Clarence isn't gunning for anything in particular. They might be able to be caught off guard. It's a slim chance, but it's a chance nonetheless, and you don't go into games of footy to lose them, that's for sure. So they'll be throwing everything they can at Clarence. It's a funny old time of the year. There's not much to play for, but these dead rubbers are still rolling out.
Yeah, always hard to know what the motivations will be as the music plays around the stadium. Just trying to pump things up. They keep this up, I reckon. But we're just about in readiness as the crowd that's here has been given a bit of a pump up there. They're certainly ready to go. But the Roos, I think a lot of this is about just making sure they keep good habits going into finals. They don't want to get sloppy. They might not necessarily need to be at their best today, but they're going to want to make sure they're playing good football, keep that momentum building, keep that form line going into finals, because it'll be they who are massively up against it come the finals, with the juggernaut of Launceston potentially awaiting them. Yeah,
that's right. And I wonder if they just sort of keep to what they know, Clarence, or maybe they spy this as an opportunity to, you know, try a few things that they might want to unleash in finals against an opponent that they're probably expected to beat. I'm looking forward to seeing Tom McCullum go about it. Tassie Devils fullback, draft prospect, back in the TSL this weekend. Obviously, he'll be playing down back this afternoon. I'm not sure he'll be... the challenge will be there for him, but still interested in seeing how he goes at this level of footy. And it's a famous name, isn't it, McCullum, for Clarence and OHA going back a long way, so it'll be good to see him running around at Bellerive this afternoon.
So we're underway. Sam Green in the upper against McGuinness. Run it down to Norton. Norton with an early clearance. He'll send the Roos forward. They swing it inside 50 and an immediate mark. No, not quite. It was dropped down there by Barwick. And out of play. But we saw Sam Green take it out of the ruck and score a goal just 6 seconds into the game last week. And the early clearance here to the Roos.
It's always it's a beautiful sight in footy, isn't it? The bounding ruckman through the middle of the ground with the long-range goal. And it's a good trick to have in your kit bag, especially as a big ruckman. And it comes again. Front spot goes to the Roos. Little handball out wide. There's a free kick, though, for a throw. It'll go Glenorchy's way. So early possession here for the Pies. It's in the hands of Callum Thompson. They'll just kick the Pies long up the line. The mark is taken. So ball in Clarence hands. They'll move things to half forward. Bouncing ball. Flared out wide now. On the end of it is McCullum. Dribbler inside forward 50. Pies defence under the pump early. Boots the ball just. Coming through was Preshaw. Tried to just tap it to his advantage. Pies will come away with it here through West. Tumbler up the wing. It's seen out of bounds for a boundary throw-in on the near side.
James Holmes sliding in there. Battled hard last week against very good opposition in Launceston. They have a pretty good account on themselves for the most part, the Roos, but blown away by Jackson Thurlow early in that one. Never really recovered. They'll be looking to get the jump here today. McInnes will take this one away from Green. He just bounds away from him. He'll send the Pies forward for the first time this afternoon. Searching ball, no one able to take a mark. potentially gathered down there. Handball back inside, not quite gathered by Green, I assume, given his name not on the team sheet. Now it's Thompson who gathers it up. He's wrapped up by Swinton. And Luke Swinton had the tough ask of playing on Jackson Thurlow last week. And it looks like he's going with Isaac Manson early in this one.
So stoppage at left half forward here. Pies' first foray into their half of the ground. Guinness gets up, under tap decisively. The hockey player might have been just held off the footy he was. It will go the way of the Pies. So Bailey Jenkins with ball in hand spies something he likes in the pocket. It was Camerick coming out on the lead, but getting in front was Baker Smith doing the business with a big spike over the boundary line. So boundary throw in, left forward pocket for Glenorchy. Early chance.
Back into play here in the forward pocket. Magpies searching for the opening goal. Taken by Jenkins. He was brought to ground though, and a handball from Norton. They're out through McCallum. Dashing through the middle of Blundstone Arena. He just floats one up because he didn't have a lot ahead of him in the end. Simpson gets back. Drop one he probably should have taken. Handball from Howlett. And now Jacques Barwick will send the Roos forward. Sends them deep inside 50. Garland with 2 to beat, but he's got the free kick. So they had the numbers, and the little grab was there all the same. And Garland will go back and kick for what should be a pretty regulation goal for a player of his calibre.
Yeah, just the slight panic grab, wasn't it? Going back, Colin Garland, he's the number one target for Clarence, of course. He's kicked the swagger goals this year. Almost certain to add to it here.
Goes back and he drives it through. There's Garland. The first of the afternoon goes to the Roos. They're there, spearhead in the forward line. That'll be a frustrating one for the Magpies. They had 2 men on him. He'll give away that free kick. Bit of a coach killer, that one, I reckon, Rowie.
Yeah, as I say, just that little grab, just wary, and always good to know where your opponent is, but that was just hyper awareness, and the little grab came, and probably the guy you don't want to be giving away too many free kicks to this afternoon. Colin Garland has his first 4 minutes in, and I dare say his eyes would be lighting up against a young Magpies defence. We're back in the middle. Clarence draw first blood, first of the game. Up it goes again. McInnes and Green. This time it was Green winning it down directly to a teammate who was immediately claimed. Green does the roving. He's grabbed by Thompson. Umpire says, "I'll have it, please." Another ball up in the middle of Belrive. Up it goes. Green and McInnes once again. No decisive winner of the tap at ground level now. Spinning out of trouble was Preshaw. Kick wasn't much chop. They roll it towards half forward. Magpies defence will work it out. Kick to a one-on-one in the middle of the ground. Awaiting was Blowfield. He was tackled, wrenched off the footy. A free kick has been paid and Blowfield's down.
Yeah, a bit of a dangerous tackle, I think, the umpire adjudicating there. It was a bit of a slinging motion.
As they get after it here, James Holmes. Blowfield looking a little worse for wear. Just puts the head in the hands, waves the trainer off. He played on. Garland was right there. I'm not sure what he was doing, but decided not to lay the tackle in the end. They're at right half forward here, the Magpies. Thompson receives it on his bootlaces, evades a couple of tacklers. Right foot snap to the top of the square. Big job for Camerick at the back. There might have been some holding here. There's a whistle. It'll go the way of the Roos. Free kick to Paprotny.
So Oscar Paprotny from fullback. Cast it out of defence towards the wing. Spoil came. Barwick leaping up. And a play for a throw-in. Battle even so far early on between Guinness and Green in the ruck, the modern prototype ruckman, if you will, more about covering the ground and running around and trying to do damage perhaps away from the contest at times, and both prefer to leap into the contest rather than going to wrap up and engage, and they'll do it here. There's one down by McInnes, but straight to Norton, who slaps it forward into the middle of the ground. Ball in dispute. Slightly high there, but the Magpies get away with it. Osborne charging through. Preshaw with a quick little handball. He found his captain Harper. Sold a teammate down the river there. Might be a high tackle to bail him out though. And the free kick will go the way of Green.
pressure hasn't been too bad from Glenorchy early on. They've just been a little sloppy in their technique. That kick into the middle of the ground was a dangerous one. Harper goes in after it, can't get the handle. Waite comes away with it for Glenorchy. Goes again with the toe poke, falls fortuitously to a teammate. Kick into the pocket is a good one. Spots up a target. Glenorchy will have a shot on goal through Joseph.
Joseph just sneaking out there, 2-on-1. Not so much the Clarence defender could do there. Had the loose man in the pocket, and there'd be a good reward for some early effort here for the Magpies if they can get this one. They've brought a pretty good heat to the contest so far in this.
They have. So the Pies, the winless Pies in 2022, lay up to the challenge. Kick from a tight angle here for Joseph. Leans back on it and puts it through. So Glenorchy kick their first of the afternoon, 7.5 minutes in. We're all square at Bellerive.
Yeah, lovely kick from Joseph there, threading the eye of the needle. Beautiful drop punt. An easy kick, that one. But important, I think, Glenorchy got some scoreboard reward for a pretty bright start here. They've had a couple more inside 50s than the Roos, and they now have a goal to show for it. A goal apiece through the opening 8 minutes. The season they've had, it's all about the small wins and building, and this has been a positive start for them to build on, I think.
There's no team that they'd like to knock off more for their first win of the season. And Clarence, their old school rivals, enjoying this ruck battle early. McInnes and Green, the two young, skinny, athletic types going at it. McInnes tried to wrench it out. He laid the tackle in the end. Harper comes away with it, uses the big body to just wrestle on through. Got it to Green, now Preshaw on his left boot. Tumbles one inside 50. The foot skills from Clarence have not been on early, it's fair to say. Preshaw back with the footy. Clarence will work it out here by hand and now by foot. They concede some ground and take a mark just back of the centre circle.
So Swinton will switch things to the near side. He found Keegan Wiley, sweeping handball over the top because he had Howlett in space. Kieran Howlett now will go looking for Garland. Can he clunk this one in the pack? Almost brought it down, not quite. Now fighting at ground level, his hands low. He's wrapped up. Another ball up deep inside forward 50. He's looming as a real lighthouse for them down there, Cole Garland. They'll go for him every chance they can get this afternoon, you'd imagine. He'll take this ruck contest. Just flicked it over the top. Snap shot from Norton is offline and juggling at Tompkins. He'll just cross the line and it'll be out of bounds. The Magpies to take over.
He's imposing down there, Garland. He's just something bigger than everybody else and experienced and former AFL frame, of course. That's a good mark taken by Green. Rising over the top of his opponent and send his team inside 50 again. Garland not the target on this occasion. It was McCullum, but off hands. The Magpies will come away with an errant handball, though. Chance now for Clarence off the boot of Tompkins, and he makes no mistake. Clarence have a couple.
Yeah, lovely work there from Tompkins, snapping it around the corner. Clarence, they're doing a pretty good job winning the ball initially. Their ball use and disposal has been a little bit iffy and let them down so far, but they're getting first use more often than not, and if that trend continues, the goals will surely follow.
Yeah, Tompkins involved a couple of times now, and this time he kicks truly, splits the middle, and yeah, capitalised on that entry that, you know, it would be easy for everything to just go Garland's way, wouldn't it? But Clarence diversified and came up with a goal.
And McCallum getting involved forward of the ball early in this one. A little surprise, but such a talented young player. No shock the Roos wanting to get him involved. So Green again wins this one down to Rainbird. Flick the handball out the back to Preshaw. Preshaw will drive them deep in the Garland direction. Just floated over his head. The umpire spotted something. Which way is it going? It's going to be a free kick to Garland. So another grab there. Just getting a little spooked here early on. Meredith on that occasion, the one infringing.
He looked like he was just worked underneath the ball. Might have been a little bit of sauce on that from Garland, but he'll happily and gratefully accept the free kick and kick for his second.
So for two inside, the opening 12 minutes of this one, Colin Garland has had a fantastic year leading this Clarence forward line. He goes back. The experienced Garland has his second of the afternoon. Danger signs for the Magpies early regarding this man. They're going to need to put the clamps on him. Well, he might just have himself a day out. Colin Garland has two, and that is the margin by which Clarence lead by after 12 minutes here.
Yeah, you don't want to get him with his tail up too early. And 2 early goals will do exactly that. It's a confidence game, and you know, if you can hold someone like a Garland, you know, to a couple of goals even to half time, you can maybe back yourself into to keep him quiet. But it's all momentum, isn't it? You get a couple of early ones under your belt and they seem to start flowing. So that's the job now for Glenorchy, to curtail his influence and to also stop the entries coming through the midfield. The huddle is all wrapped up by Rainbird, former Pie, of course. Now donning the colours of the old enemy. There it goes, Green, now spiked forward by Camrick, who's made his way into the midfield. Worked off the footy. Players conversion. Be holding the ball here against Darnold. It is, so free kick will go the way of Rainbird for Clarence. Kick wasn't too bad, but just spilt the beans to his teammate. Now with Camrick, who waited until the last minute to pull the trigger on his kick, and he's turned it over directly into the hands of Baker Smith.
That's a young player, Baker Smith. He wants to retreat here, barely the 15. Umpires well set up behind the ball, so chip this one down the line. Finds a marking target in Tompkins, been involved early here, Ruben Tompkins. Sharp start for him. So he's going to be forced to kick to a contest here, and he sends that one high up in the air down the wing. Towering mark again, Garland. He is just imposing himself on this contest. And he'll send them forward once more. Had a man in acres of space. That was Preshaw, picked him out. He flips it over the top. Harper snuck deep. And he's all on his lonesome in the square, and we'll go back for a certain goal. He's doing what they will at the moment. The Clarence Ruse, and once again, Colin Garland just imposing himself. As Jared Harper will go back. Mr. O'Bolham's already jotted this one down on the sheet as he strokes it through for their 4th.
Yeah, no wideout required there from the top of the goal square. And Harper makes no mistake. Clarence now, well, we praised Glenorchy in the opening minutes of the game for bringing some early pressure, kicking an early goal and getting some reward, but it's just been far too easy in the last 5 or so minutes for the Roos. They had an open man all through the forward 50. They had an open player at right half forward, and it was Preshaw who just popped it over the top to Harper, who was just working harder to get back and put himself into position to kick a goal. And it all started with the big Garland mark, 75 metres out. So if he's not doing it close to goal, he's getting up onto the wings and hurting Glenorchy there. So again, a big challenge for the Pies this afternoon as they look to go again here, the Roos. This time it's Rainbird, kick deep inside 50. Garland direction again. And oh boy, he's having his way with the young Magpies early. He is absolutely everywhere. He's lining up for a 3rd major.
Yeah, he's absolutely dominating right now. They've got no answer for him. Garland will go back for his 3rd.
So Colin Garland leans back on the kick. Easy as you like. Guides at home, and he has 3. Clarence have 5. And it is raining goals at Bellerive. I hate to say it so early in the game, but it's getting a little ugly.
It is. Well, he started the day 6 goals behind Hines in the race for the Hudson medal. Clarence with the bye next week, so he's going to have to build the lead today. Hines, of course, suspended, so he won't be adding to his tally this week. With Garland with an opportunity. He's already halved that with 3 here in the first 15.
It looks ominous, doesn't it?
Be a very big day indeed for Garland. He'll be thinking double digits at this stage. Although I've seen a few times this year he's got to the last score and they've just sat him on the bench for the most of it with the job done.
Well, I think if he sniffs a 10 or a 12 pack this afternoon, he might just find himself remaining on the ground. Rainbird's starting to have an influence now. He wins another free kick in the middle of the ground, and they'll go forward again here at Clarence, and that is just all too easy. Almost uncontested mark, and this is another short ball to guess who.
Real shades of Jeremy Cameron winning that Coleman medal for GWS that time against Gold Coast, where they just spent an entire half just looking to set him up every possible chance. He kicked 8 on 9 that day. Could have gone back and had a shot, but why not pop it into Garland for his chance at a 4th?
So extraordinarily, Colin Garland lining up for a 4th goal within the first 17 minutes of this game. Looks pretty good to me. Number 4 for Garland, number 6 for Clarence, and again, Glenorchy defence all at sea.
He closes the gap to 2 in the Hudson. This has been a remarkable start, and that pressure that the Magpies brought early on has suddenly dissipated. They're just walking it out of the middle, and it's pretty hard to be fair to the Glenorchy defence. It's pretty hard to defend the ball when it's coming in at this speed with this much space. They are on a hiding to nothing right now.
Yeah, and the last couple of entries have come via free kicks as well. Rainbird on the end of both of them. So we spoke early in the contest about Glenorchy just being a little bit sloppy, applying tackles, but they have a chance here off the boot of Jenkins. Inside 50 they go. Under the ball was West. Tried to go back in after it, but he was beaten to it by Paprotny. They'll work it out here by hand now. Clarence got the man on the outside. Up the wing they go to a contest, getting in front. Good mark taken. Will be in Pye's hands at right half back.
The Magpies try and build something here. It's been an ugly period of the game as he sends them down the wing. The spoil came from behind. Baker Smith flying across, hard-nosed as ever. Ball will be thrown back into play, half forward for the Magpies as they try and get something going. It's been an onslaught for the last 10 minutes. And the Colin Garland show here at Blundstone Arena. Green, the duel here with McInnes once more. To the favour of McInnes, he's able to gather it. His Green ran past it in the end. He'll send them inside 50. It's a wobbly old kick floated over the full forward's head. In dispute now. Clarence should be able to take over, and a handball across. We'll see them exiting. A little chip kick finds Harper at half back. He's just held up for the time being. Pretty patient with their ball use in this one. The gaps have opened up ahead of him. He kicks to a contest, not quite able to bring that one down. Ryan, and then a high tackle will go the way of the Magpies.
Whitford with the footy on the broadcast side. Runs his full measure. Kicks a loopy sort of ball inside forward 50 to nobody in particular. There were 4 Clarence players lining up for it. They gratefully accept. With the footy in the middle of the ground now, Rainbird's had a stack of it. Handball inside was a little sloppy in the Harper direction. He didn't get the handle. He wraps up his opponent. We'll have a ball up in the middle of Belrive.
Decision-making like that's not going to make it any easier for the Magpies. Just kicking to 4 Clarence players. They need to show a little bit more composure when they do win the football. In trouble, Browning just slapped it away, but Clarence will pounce back on it once more. Charging forward with it is Howlett. Couldn't quite gather it in support. McCallum trying to gather it at ground level. He's under some pressure here though. A tackle laid by Browning. Force the stoppage inside forward 50 for the Roos.
Just trying to get a sense of the role that McCullum is playing. We've seen him at both ends of the ground. I think he's playing as a key position defender, but he's certainly going forward. I don't think he's playing as a key forward either, as Garland just goes with the double palm. He goes and rows his footy. Chance at a 5th here. Colin Garland wheels around, sends it goalward and misses. His first blemish of the afternoon. Clarence now 6-1-37, letting Glenorchy 1 straight.
He's going to come right back because that was a poor kick, straight out of bounds. Chipped inside the forward 50. He's got it again.
How is he getting so much space?
Colin Garland, well, I don't know what the record is for goals in the TSL, but it's got to be in danger the way this has started. He's kicked 4. This looks imminently gettable for a 5th. It is Colin Garland taking over. He may well have caught Hines by quarter time here, the way he's going. Put out in front of him. Garland gleefully accepts to extend the lead to 37 points early on here. Drifts that one across the face. A minor score only.
So 4 goals 2, the tally for Garland, and this might be the story out of today's game. Garland watch. If they continue to mark him like they have, he might be in world record territory. Big fist over the back. Free kick will plucked out of this contest. Will go the way of Glenorchy. McInnes, who's competed pretty well, I think, in his early stages. So McInnes, just a loping sort of ball up the line. Ends up in Clarence's hands. And they concede some ground to set up off half-back. Wiley spreads things further across the ground. McCallum awaits, takes the mark, progresses things once more to Harper, who's enjoying himself out there as well. A bit of the footy early. He kicks up the line. It's a good ball to Poprotny. Marks on his chest in front of Brown. Wheels around now. This is going in the Garland direction. I can almost guarantee it. In fact, it won't go to Garland because it'll fall short of the arms of Barwick. If he doesn't have a shot, he might go to Garland. Goes all the way to the goal square, to the goal line, and I think it's home.
Yeah, Jacques Barwick not liable to pass too many off. He had a scent of the goals about that one. He wheeled inside. He's a lovely kick. He's got great goal sense, does Barwick. And he hammers that through. And look, the first 5 minutes, the Magpies were competing all right. They were bringing the pressure. That's just completely fallen away. Clarence have free men absolutely everywhere whenever they have the ball. The players are receiving the ball in acres of space. They've just got to get man on man, I think, or do something to just try and prevent this, because they're doing as they will right now, and they're meeting very little opposition.
They just seem to be just such a little pressure applied on the kick. He took the mark, played on immediately, gave himself another 5 metres, opened the angle. It was a nice finish, mind you, but all too easy for Clarence, who banged through their 7th. Harper might have been held, he was. Camerick gives away the free kick, and they go forward again here, Clarence. Harper, short ball, pokes it inside 50. Good mark taken, presenting out onto the chest. Pre-short. He'll go short inside 50, and he hits a target as well. And another chance for the young man in Barwick.
Well, he's a lively goal kicker, and if the ball's going to keep getting in there, he's going to feel his boots as well as Garland.
What a head of hair on this young man. So a beautiful kick, as Drew Cooling mentioned. He has one to his name for the afternoon. This one sails through also. Clarence have an 8th. Barwick has a 2nd. And it is a rout at Bellerive.
Yeah, I think we're expecting a pretty comfortable Clarence win today, but not this comfortable. The Magpies really struggling to keep up with them at the moment. They're just, I think, hanging out for the quarter-time siren, hoping they can a word with the Chargers, reorganise a few things, but they're just baying for that siren at the moment. It's right now. Clarence simply doing as they will. A 44-point lead inside of the first quarter. Garland has kicked 4 of them. Now Jacques Barwick looming large with 2. Green wins that one down. Poke forward. Camerick, the star man of this Magpies team. Can he get them going here? Disco Camerick. He sends them deep inside. Forward 50. Bounces out the back. Swinton just getting a little push there from Blowfield. And goes through for a score. Behind only. The Roos will look to exit.
And it comes. Norton marks. Right back pocket. Plays on by hand. They'll go up the line here. The Roos, wobbly old ball, but good mark taken by Preshaw. He plays on immediately to the running ruckman in green. Onto the left boot he goes. They're at right half forward now, through the hands of Keegan Ryan. Arnold now for the Pies. Handball to the bootlaces of Camerick, but he does well enough to gather and finds a teammate inside the defensive 50. The kick wasn't much chop, it was to a contest. Clarence player runs into a whole heap of trouble, and he's been pinged for holding the ball. So good pressure from Camerick, who is standing up for Glenorchy into the midfield. They've used him forward for good chunks of this year. The Pies have it on the outer side. They go to right half forward, 2-on-2 contest. Doing reasonably well there was Blowfield to just progress it by 5 metres. They'll get a boundary throw in the right forward pocket. Can they kick a second before the quarter-time siren?
And we're hoping desperately to claw something from this. Camerick injected into the midfield, really out of necessity at this point. It just wasn't getting down there to full forward. And he's got the ball inside the forward 50 a couple of times since moving there. Can they find someone to impact this contest? Green won the hit out down, handballed out back. Baker Smith under a little bit of pressure there from Jenkins. He retreats back deep in defence. They always had the numbers though, and James Beerley in some space is able to just dish a little handball. Might continue his run and receive it back and work it out through McCallum instead. He sends it down the wing and force a turnover to Nicholson. Nicholson now with some time to pick an option. He swings an ugly looking kick straight to 2 Clarence players, and They're really not helping themselves with their decision-making. Swinton just taken late there by Arnold. That'll be a free kick for the Roos, but they're really not doing themselves any favour with the ball either, Chris Rowbottom.
Yeah, not. It's almost like before they've even kicked it, they know what they want to do with it, but they do that thing and there's no one there, and that is kick long and deep, rather than perhaps lower the eyes and spot a shorter target. Nevertheless, we are on the outer side, boundary throw-in. Clarence lead by 42 points early in this contest, highlighted by 4 majors to Colin Garland. If you're just joining us, 4 goals 2 to the former Melbourne Demon. The race for the Hudson medal will be one of the storylines out of today's game. McInnes and Green go at it. Camrick applies a strong tackle on Norton. We'll have another stoppage. Right on the logo, centre wing, outer side, 27.5 gone. 42 points to the good. The Roos. Green gets up, taps it down, looking for Preshaw, lays the tackle. Another stoppage.
Imagine there's still a little bit of time remaining in this quarter. And the avalanche of goals we've seen. Time enough. The Roos to add to it. Green leaping high. McInnes did pretty well on that occasion though, and the Magpies will get the clearance. They'll send it deep inside 50. Can they find a marking target? It's kicked to a contest. And it was not easy there for Jordan Green. It's whacked away from him. Going to play for a throw in. At least, I suppose, the last few minutes from a Glenorchy perspective, they're starting to get their hands on the ball a little bit more and get a few forward 50 entries after 15 minutes there of just absolute onslaught from the Roos. Can they turn it into a goal here? They're in dire need of one. Hanson in the ruck up against Baker Smith and just ran into Smith in the end. He'll get the free kick. Tough customer is Baker Smith. Kicks this one in the Holmes direction, picks it out nicely. He sends the handball across. A bit of a fumble there, might just let the Magpies in. Allow Blowfield to come across, and Riley uncharacteristically unclean there.
Yeah, fumbly. They were away to your sense as well. Clarence up the line once again. Glenorchy, some good fortune, force a stoppage, so it comes, umpire twirls it in, Bucks go at it, beautiful tap straight down to Preshaw, who works it out with Harper, goes back now to Holmes. He's got some time and space to switch the footy. Across the ground they go now, the Roos. It's in the hands of Howard. He finds a target in McCullum. He runs into a bit of trouble, good enough to don't argue and bounce off and share it with Smith. Inboard they go now, Clarence. They work it out by hand. Preshaw now, left foot ball, inside 50 go the Roos, over the head of a Glenorchy player in brown. Onto it was Barwick. He's wrapped up. There's just a hint of how quickly they can move the footy.
It's a real strength of their game. They're a lovely side in full flight to watch, Clarence. They're great with the ball. Garland just takes it out of the ruck himself, sends it goalward, won't have the journey. Harper down there, taken away from him by Whitford. He gets into some trouble though. Pressure applied by Tompkins, and they'll force another stoppage. It's unsurprisingly looking a little bit panicked down in the Magpies' defence.
Well, Whitford just left the footy behind.
Yeah.
Sort of dropped it uncontested.
Garland out of the ruck again. He's had another shot. Is it through for number 5? It is. Colin Garland has 5 in the opening quarter. The Clarence Roos are destroying the Magpies here. They're out by 49 points. And Colin Garland has closed within 1 goal in the Hudson medal race before quarter time is out.
He's just too big and too strong. And we've seen it in 3 or 4 ruck contests now. He's just taking it out of the ruck because he knows he can get rid of his opponent in the contest, grab the ball and win a disposal. And on this occasion, kick a goal. He did it 5 seconds prior. He had a flying shot on goal and it didn't quite get there. But that's the difference between somebody who's played 10 or 12 years of AFL football, coming back and playing against a young, raw defence of essentially kids. He's just having their way with them, and 5 early majors is his reward.
So will the onslaught continue, or will the siren give some relief for the Magpies? There it is. The quarter ends 9 goals 2 to 1 goal 1. After 8 minutes, it was 1 goal apiece, and we were thinking the Magpies had brought a fair level of pressure. that fell away. From then on, it was the Colin Garland show. He's taken over this football game. And suddenly, within one of Lions in the lead, Hudson Medal doesn't have a game to play next week, so I don't think the Magpies are going to get much reprieve. But they get at least some temporary reprieve with the quarter-time siren here, Rowie.
Yeah, it was we don't want to, we probably are going to go on about it all afternoon because it's going to be the story out of this game. It was the Colin Garland show in the first term. 5 goals, 2, could have had 7. And a couple of them were very, very easy. Lots of space on the lead, bad checking, and just, as I said, an experienced player making hay against a young defence that just doesn't have the physical strength that he possesses. And if his eyes haven't lit up by now, then there's something wrong, because he has 5 early ones and he's in line for a bag of 12 or 15 potentially if things get really ugly. And I'm not ruling it out at this stage because he's looked dangerous up forward. Glenorchy, yeah, not too much to write home about. You mentioned the injection of Ben Camrick into the midfield. I think he started forward early, or he was certainly playing forward early, and they just had to get him in there to apply some pressure. They were walking it out of there at one stage. Mitch Rainbird had 3 or 4 clearances in a row. Ben Camrick went in there and stemmed the flow somewhat, but they need a lift out of just about everybody on the park. I've liked young McInnes in the ruck. I think he's providing something, a bit of bounce in there. Camrick's been okay, Arnold's been okay, but apart from that, it's been pretty diabolical. The young defence is just under siege.
Yeah, I'm not sure they've got a physical matchup for Garland. That's going to be the problem. Meredith, you'd have thought, would be their best option, but he just doesn't have the strength to go with him. So I suppose you've got to try and cut off the supply and try and start winning the ball out of the middle a little bit more. It's probably the only way. Allow your defence to get set a little, get that extra man back there, drop him behind the play. It's going to be tough, and as we've seen, the Clarence teammates, I think they're well aware of Colin Garland's goal-kicking situation, and they are going to go to him time and time again.
They certainly will. And just on that midfield battle, this is, again, the difference between, a team that has a core that have been together for a little bit of time now, and you speak of Norton and Holmes and Harper in particular, who's an experienced state league footballer. He's the captain of the team, bigger body, he's mature. They're going to win the footy out of the middle more often than not with that experienced cohort of midfielders, which is going to result in more shots on goal. Glenorchy running with Ben Camrick's in there, Callum Thompson's been through there, trying hard, but not only are they not getting the ball, they don't have the technique to apply the pressure at the moment, or to apply when the opponent gets the ball, to apply an effective tackle, because they're giving away free kicks in the middle of the ground too.
Yeah, they at least brought a little bit of pressure early on, so they can try and mimic that. They might be able to stem the bleeding a little bit, but pretty worrying signs here at quarter time for the Magpies. This live stream brought to you by the Daily Potato Company. Take a quick breather and be back in a couple of moments with quarter number 2. It is all Clarence at quarter time, 9:2:56. The Magpies 117. So we're just about ready to get back underway here at Blundstone Arena. Clarence, dominant first term, leading by 49 points. And McInnes set to resume their battle in the ruck here. See if the Magpies have flipped any of the magnets or changed things around a little. Try and work their way back into this, I'm sure. Colin Garland would have been a hot topic of conversation in the quarter-time huddle there, Chris.
Yeah, you mentioned before the quarter-time break, I'm not sure they've got anybody to physically go with him. They need to stem the flow and maybe sit one in the hole in front of him. I'm not too sure, but you're right. I'm sure he would have been top of the agenda at quarter-time for the Pies.
So we're underway here. Pre-short with an early touch. He flicks it out, handle over the top. And Wiley found a Loams in space, goes back inside, just missed Paprotny, goes back and gets it. Tried to crash through Joseph, couldn't quite do so. Now it's Thompson who's gathered. Preshaw just took the ball away from him, seized it off him, sent the Roos forward, and he found Garland again. Well, he's picked up right where he left off. Preshaw just reached the ball out, and he hits the leading Garland, who can go back to draw level in the Hudson Medal.
Yeah, you just start to feel for Josh Meredith, because that's just delivery, isn't it?
Nothing he can do about that at all. Garland lets him off the hook this time. He's third behind of the day. He's kicked 5-3. But they've picked it right up where they left off there, the Roos.
So when it comes, short ball by McCann. So a clear defensive 50 now, the Pies. That kick to Whitford. It's at right half back. The line they go. Who can take a mark? They do take the mark, and it's Blowfield. Right on centre wing. Tries to shimmy inside, forced onto his right boot. Goes up the line to right half forward. Bouncing ball towards the boundary. Gathered by Manson, but the umpire said it was out. Have a boundary throw in. So inside 50 here. Glenorchy, can they perhaps draw first blood in this second term? Spins it in. Works to go at it. McInnes over the top. It came down to Thompson, who was wrenched off his kick, but got boot to ball. Good mark coming through, taken by Smith with courage.
Eyes only for the football. He knows only one way, this young man. The exit defensive 50 wasn't the greatest kick, but he kind of made it work all right. And he bounds away, sends him back into the middle. Norton in some space. Norton now, he'll put it into space. He'll go looking for Garland once more. Went out behind. He might still get there. Just worked off it by Roach. And the support came. Ryan sees it across the line. So that time the delivery perhaps letting Garland down. He was on again.
Well, that was just that speed of movement again, wasn't it? McCallum set it up off half-back, kick into the middle of the ground. They were away through Norton.
Bounce off half-back with tremendous pace. So McInnes up against Garland. He'll have to be on watch here for the taking it out of the ruck contest. He did 3 times in quarter number 1. He does it again, and he gets his kick away around the corner as he got number 6. He's offline again. That's the only thing letting him down slightly, Cole Garland. He's kicked 5-4.
You got to be awake to that, don't you? Like he's done it 4 or 5 times now, and he's had 2 or 3 shots on goal from it. Hard, I know. It's easier said than done, but it's something they've really got to be aware of in the forward half. Pies in possession now. Simpson up the line to a contest. Falls the way of weight. Chance here for Glenorchy. Not a bad ball inside. Looking for the player over the top. Camerick in the right forward pocket. Just grabbed as he tried to screw the footy back to the top of the goal square. Unable to get boots the ball. We'll have a boundary throw in.
Out of the square, Bealey escorting him out of play. He's got the match up there. Key to this Magpie side in Camerick. And they find something here for a 450 entry. Baker Smith immediately tackled off the ground, goes Green, kicking in danger, I think the call. And a free kick going the way of James Holmes. Didn't mind the idea, but I'm always going to call that one. It's Holmes. Looks up, they've had too much trouble exiting the defensive 50 today. They had options. Actually, this one short. It's a marking target, and go back inside to Rainbird. It's prominent in quarter number 1, Mitch Rainbird. And he runs off here into space, steers a kick up towards the wing and finds a marking target in Harper. Flicks the handball over the top, and he found Howlett. Howlett with plenty of time. Didn't like what he saw further afield, and the umpire spotted something off the ball here. It's going to be a free kick going the way of the Magpies.
Well, they get away with one there, Glenorchy. We didn't quite see what has occurred off the footy there, but just the time and space that Clarence have, they're able to analyse and assess what's up the ground, and they're willing to bite off the switch because they've got enough time to do so, and it's just been the difference so far in their ball movement. Having said that, Glenorchy will go forward here through Webster, but the kick is offline, and Green gets back in the hole and takes the mark. Flares it wide now. Ball in Clarence's hands, right half back. Now they're on centre wing, outer side. Forward it goes. Getting in front there and juggling it on the third bite was McGann. Not paid the mark, wrapped up by a pair of roos. Barwick was one of them. Have a ball up.
Looking pretty sure a dangerous duo there. As the ball's thrown back up. No one contesting the ruck in the end, but dropped by McInnes in the end. Pretty sure shovels it out towards the line. They'll toss it back in.
Strange.
It was. No one wanted to go for that. Everyone just sat around and watched. See if anyone actually bothers to contest it. Sam Green is here for this contest.
Here comes young McInnes.
I think he's more surprised by anything. I just allowed to grab it. Ended up dropping it. Green, well, for some reason, goes uncontested again. It wasn't a great throw from the umpire, to be fair. And the field umpire says, have another crack at that one. Try to get a bit more purchase. It's a bit of wind at play, perhaps.
It might be Jacob Bevis out there, I think.
Oh, the Bev Show himself.
Bev Show might be doing the business on the boundary.
There's a lift there, Bev.
And another crack at. We've had the last 4 stoppages for 0 hit-outs.
Bizarre.
So missed here at half forward. Roos will come up with it. By hand they go. Just fumbly through the middle of the ground. Here's Blowfield. Got his handball away. Now the Magpies are away. Forward they go. Kick to right half forward. Camrick direction. Close checking from Bealey. Sees it out of bounds.
Nicely spoiled there by James Bealey. Tough afternoon last week against that star Launceston forward line. We'll see if we can actually get a hit out this time as Green and McInnes resume their ruck battle. Green will take it out, takes front position, dish it off to Rainbird, drop the ball. Green lays the tackle. Umpires spotted a free kick, however.
Yeah, I think Rainbird was just held as he got rid of it.
He was, and must already have double-digit possessions, probably significantly more. Rainbird. He's had a lot of it early on. Chip back to Ryan on this occasion. And Green, they're quite happy to just go the full switch. Wasn't a great kick from the ruckman, though. Don't get the big ruck involved in the defensive switching business.
You don't see that often, do you? You got to be an exceptional user of the football if you're a ruckman to be biting off the switch in defence across goal. I guess that's the sort of thing you can maybe experiment with when you're 51 points up, 8 minutes into the second term. In it comes. We're inside Glenorchy's forward 50. Taken out of the ruck by Manson. Got it off to a teammate. Bouncing ball towards goal. Well, it was a little scorpion kick attempt by Blowfield. But to no avail. Not sure what he was attempting to do there. Well, I do know. He was attempting to
kick goal
soccer it over his head for a miraculous goal. Maybe that's what they have to resort to here. The Magpies trying to create something out of nothing. I don't mind it.
I love it.
Personally.
It was Latan-esque that would have been goal of the year, which might be something to claim out of the game at least. Did he get in the back of him? The umpire says play on Manson. It's behind only. He might have infringed in the contest, but got away with it. Didn't matter as he put his shot offline. So Keegan Wiley, a reliable defender. We'll look at his options here. So just chip it into the pocket, barely the 15 metres, and chipped in turn to McCullum. I'm pretty happy just to poke the ball around the defence, wait for the openings to present themselves up the field, because generally they have. Pre-Shaw. Wait for the holes to open up. The Magpies set up. He finds Rainbird again. He's going to have leather poisoning at the end of the day here. Mitch Rainbird. Continue the slow play. He sends it into the middle of the ground. Slightly risky kick though. Invited in Poulsen and they've turned it over. Camera gave it to Browning. Browning went out to punch the Magpies deep inside 50. Smith dropping one he probably should have taken off the chest there. He'll go back. Bealey takes it. Plenty of numbers on hand for Clarence. They're able to negotiate the situation all right. One back by Blowfield though, who just walks it out of play and Green sees him out.
They've had a bit of possession here, Glenorchy, and they've sort of had it inside their forward 50 for a decent chunk of this second term, but they just don't have anything to kick to. There's just no dominant target inside that forward 50, and we've seen multiple forays forward just land in Clarence hands, and it's a genuine problem. As you said earlier, we've seen Cameron go up there to try and provide something, but he looks to be back around the ball at the moment, which it's a classic Rob Petter to pay Paul. You end up with maybe more entries via his boot and him creating, but then you have nobody to kick it to. So there's been a whistle here, and speaking of Camrick, he might have just given away a free kick for something off the ball.
A little jumper punch.
Just a little jumper punch in frustration. Ball's boom now for Clarence. Kicks to right half forward. Off hand. Meredith tracks it to the boundary line for the Pies. He's just held off the footy. It stays in fact. Rainbird on the end of it. Just dumps it on the boot. Ugly sort of ball inside 50. Garland's getting back to the goal square. They weren't quite onto it. This looks like it'll be a shot on goal from deep in the right forward pocket. So can the Roos add their 10th? Kick towards goal. Might be good. It is. Gee, well, that was casual, wasn't it? From a pretty tough angle and a pretty tough kick. No worries.
Absolutely.
Goal number 10.
Absolutely easy as you like there. I think it might have been Howlett, not 100% on the goal scorer there, apologies, but 56 points, and yeah, you know you're doing it easy when you slot that one from the impossible angle and everyone's like, shrug of the shoulders, whatever.
There was no real celebration or acknowledgement. It was a terrific finish.
Oh, it wasn't a Garland goal, so. But no, beautiful drop punt. On the angle, we'll get confirmation on that goal scorer for you if we can, but what a wonderful kick of the football that was, and 56 points doesn't make it any easier here for the Magpies, and the opposition start shelling those ones as well. Camerick onto this one, he turns away from Green and he'll send it up towards half forward. It's a tumbling kick, wasn't really to the advantage there of Poulsen. Play for throw in. 56 points the margin, midway through quarter number 2. They've stemmed the bleeding a little in this quarter of the Magpies, but still very much all a one-way traffic for the time being. Back to play once more. Green knocks it down. Camerick starting to get busy since he's moved on to the ball. He'll send them inside 50 again here. He can't find a marking target though. Swinton couldn't quite gather it. Here's a chance. Snap kick offline, and getting back into the hole was Baker Smith. He takes the intercept mark. And looks up. He's defensive 50. The contest. Pre-Shaw. Just got it away in time. Howlett. Send it across. Harper sends it in the Rainbird direction. Got up, opted not to mark, but just prodded to a teammate instead. In the end, it'll be the Magpies who take over, so perhaps should have just taken the mark there, Mitchy Rainbird. Magpies playing quickly to Camerick. Camerick through traffic. Lovely handball, all fumbled. They get a second chance, though. Can Thompson fire this one through? Callum Thompson, he's offline. And just the behind.
Had a bit of the footy here, Glenorchy, and it's been played predominantly in Glenorchy's front half. Just unable to capitalise. On goal 3, the Pies trail the Roos, 10 goals 4. Turned it over here, though. Getting in the way is McInnes. He's straddling the boundary outside of the right boot. Tumbler to the face of goal. Blowfield needed a kind bounce, didn't receive one. He ends up with it anyway. Tries to dodge a would-be tackler. He's unable to do so. And he's pinged for holding the ball. By the way of Luke Swinton for Clarence. So they've had their chances here, Glenorchy. Just been unable to cash in as Swinton clears defensive 50 with a long ball. Thompson forces the contest. There's been a whistle to go the way of Glenorchy. Waite was held off at the back of the pack. Another inside 50 here for Glenorchy. Can they get some just rewards? Pack flies off hands to the boundary. Bealey sees it over. And they'll have a boundary throw in the right forward pocket.
So 55 points the lead here for the Roos. The Magpies trying to find a goal. And pushing for the last few minutes. Had some play up their end of the ground. Can they convert it into their first of the second term? Make some inroads into this margin. Stem the bleeding for the time being. Baxter Norton takes it away. And cleared by Wiley. It's a nice mark taken by Dominic Brown, showing some good hands. Forced to kick to a contest inside forward 50. Umpire tells him to hold his horses. Not sure what that's all been about.
50-metre penalty.
Given a 50. So that should enable Dominic Brown to go back and kick their first of the quarter. Not quite sure, something off the ball there. And some confusion there. Brown will go back and will take his kick from around about 35.
His brother's a renowned goal kicker. I'm not sure on Dom Brown's goal-kicking prowess. He played the majority of his time in defence at Glenorchy. An athletic-type defender. Similar run to him, though, must be said. Comes in, comes back on the kick, sends it towards goal, and he's hit the post. So still unable to capitalise here. The Pies, another behind.
This one is looking for Bealey, couldn't quite bring it down. Under some pressure there by Magpies. They're doing a better job starting to lock the ball in the forward half a little more now.
It's been a far better quarter, just better pressure, better muscle around the ball and repeat entries. They just can't put it through the big sticks.
Said that's probably going to be their best hope at stopping Garland, was cutting off the supply, and they've at least managed that for the time being as it's back into play. McInnes up against Green. Green won it down to Ryan. Ryan with a big up and under to the middle of the ground. Inbird from behind. McInnes gathered.
Yeah, they're just splitting contests now, the 50-50s, like bringing balls to ground, making a contest or taking a mark. Clarence don't seem to be winning all the 50-50s at this stage. As we'll see another clearance now. Great hands out of the stoppage from Thompson to Camrick, who was running on by. Just lost his feet. Handball was a little error, but another boundary throw in.
The other key is they've stopped that furiously paced rebound game that the Roos had going in quarter number one. It's a lot more stagnant coming out of defence this quarter. They're being forced to kick to contests.
Yeah, they've corked a couple of holes, that's for sure. It's still 54 points, mind you, but it was looking far more dire a little earlier. In it comes. McInnes and Green do the ruck work. Thompson's been pretty good this afternoon. Gets the handball out. He's Camrick on the outside. Lost his feet again. It just dribbles out for another boundary throw-in.
Get some reward for their effort here, though. The Magpies, that's the key, is one-sided games around the TSL. Launceston with a smackdown on an undermanned Tigers. They're up 56-9, so...
Isn't that a strange old build-up during the week?
Yeah,
with a bit of hijinks. I liked it, to be honest. Old school sort of wacky theatre.
Green's lost his boot here. Someone has, anyway. No, Green's just got different coloured boots, which though someone's minus a shoe. It's tossed aside. McInnes goes unopposed. There's Green into the forward pocket. Camrick lurking, but they slam that one shut.
I'm enjoying the work of Callum Thompson at the moment, just around the stoppages, getting hands to the footy, and Camrick they haven't quite made the connection, but he's been on the outside a couple of times, and been a couple of opportunities for them to really link up.
Swinton's kick almost gathered by McCallum, but not quite. So again, they're able to halt the rebound 50 game, and it's curbed them a little. They were flying off the halfback flank in quarter number one. Getting the ball down to their forwards. Coming in at such speed. So they kicked 8 goals in around about 12 minutes of game time. They've stopped that, but they need to get something on the scoreboard themselves here to show for it, the Magpies. Knocked away. Turning into trouble is Wiley. He's wrapped up. Another stoppage. Repeat stoppages here. Half forward and inside forward 50. Clarence defence holding firm for the time being. Green thumps it forward. Tracked down though by Camerick. Swung the handball back inside. Tackle laid by Harper. Camerick again with a look away handball. Another possession. Well, the Magpies say he's fighting hard in there, trying to get something going for his side. They square it up for Roach. That's a good kick. Might open things up a little bit. Roach sends them to half forward. Was forced to kick to a contest though, and Baker Smith won it. Handballed it over the top. Turned it straight back over once again though. Now it'll be Joseph. Kick their lone goal so far today. You're right to Green, but he was hauled down by Bealey. A great defensive tackle. And he's rewarded for it too.
Oh, they're almost here, Glenorchy, aren't they? But they're just not quite there. They've been okay, I think, especially around the stoppage and being able to win the clearance. Camerick's been a huge influence on that. They just can't quite get that final connection. Holmes here for Clarence. Still inside the defensive 50. And able to break the shackles here, the Roos. They do have the comfort, 54-point lead. So, too impressive to worry about. Baker Smith slides in and takes the mark in front of opponent Joseph. Has it left half back, calls a play on now. We'll kick up the line for the Roos. This is where Glenorchy have been okay in having the contest, although it'll end up in Clarence' hands. But the pressure came and the free kick was affected. Holding the ball against Luke Swinton. Get another chance here, the Pies. Roach. Go inside 50. Kick to the 2-on-1. Do a bad job of bringing it down in weight, but it'll be run out of defence by the Roos. McCallum in space on the outer side. Waits for the ball, gathers it, and now kicks up the line. Away they go now. Clarence inside forward 50. Garland has separation. Time to stop and prop. Fires on goal, and he puts it through. Easy as you like, and just like that, Clarence absorb, only for Garland to end up with it in a matter of seconds and put through his 6th of the afternoon. That's heartbreaking for Glenorchy.
Yeah, that's a real gut punch. The last 10 minutes, they've actually dominated this football game. They have locked the ball inside forward 50, had repeat entries, nothing to show for it, and then bang. They charge off half-back, send it in there, and Garland's all on his lonesome for goal number 6.
Yeah, you have to feel for the young Pies there. You're right. Locked inside their forward 50 for a good 10 minutes. Unable to capitalise, and then bang. They go end to end the Roos, and Garland kicks the 6th. Break the spirit.
Credit to the Roos defence, I suppose. They've held the line pretty well back there.
Been fantastic.
The likes of Wiley and Bealey in particular have won some pretty big balls down there. So they've extended the lead to 10 goals. This one shipped into the middle. Green up against McInnes. McInnes won it away nicely, and the sweeping handball finds Thompson. He can pick his options inside forward 50. He's found a target, and that man is Cooper Meredith. And he says, I'll go back and have a shot. And kicking from around about 50 out. And probably sensing needed to settle it down and try and get something on the scoreboard here. For all the play they've had in forward 50, the chances have been hard to come by. Conjure their first goal here for the quarter, their 2nd of the match. Cooper Meredith, he charges in. It was an unconvincing looking approach. It gathered steam, but the kick, an ugly one. That's out of bounds on the full.
Never quite looked like it, did he, Meredith? The distance looked like it was going to trouble him in the probably old run-up. Didn't look overly convincing, as you said. So all in Clarence' hands now. Holmes kicks across goal to Baker Smith. Clears defensive 50. Thompson awaits out the back. gathers and just pops one laterally to McGuinness. Plays on. Goes by hand now to Arnold. Using it better through the middle of the ground now, the Pies, and they'll go inside 50 again. Kick to a contest. Big fist over the top from Swinton towards the boundary. Wade arrives first though for the Pies. Puts the move on Swinton. Squaring ball. Can he hit a target? Only green grass. Pies don't quite come up with it. First onto the scene was Whitford, but he was tackled. Stoppage inside forward 50 for Glenorchy.
They continue to mount the attack here, the Magpies. They're pressing, they're knocking on the door, but they can't find a way through here. Clarence defence holding the line superbly off the boot of Green. The handball flicked back into dispute in the Meredith direction. Clarence will take it away through Harper, then Holmes, and now Bryce Holmes with some time to assess his options. He punches a kick up towards the wing. That'll be a free kick going the way of the Roos for a jumper grab. That's not going to be advantage Jack Barwick. Run had stopped. Kick it back, so the Roos in centre wing here through McCallum, sends it wide. His best kick there. Simpson crunched, smashed, absolutely hit hard there. Preshaw coming in, and a throw in at half forwards. Well, able to be a high free kick. Umpire eventually opting to pay it. Probably fair enough too. He sends this one back up the wing. Back inside to Rainbird. Quick hands were good to Holmes. Balks, then goes back the other way. A throw, in fact, called by the umpire. So, Magpies will get the ball back. It's all right to me, but...
Was it against Rainbird?
It must be.
It was interesting. I thought it looked like a legal disposal to me. Well, it was a lot closer than we are, though.
It was otherwise. Yeah, I thought so too. Chip kick. Once Manson. Manson will turn onto the right. He'll look to drive them inside 50 once more. Can they find a marking target here, the Magpies? Spills out the back, almost a chance there, Jenkins. And the snapshot is there, and they do get it, the Magpies, at last. It's a reward for their effort. Was it Joseph again? With his second of the afternoon, I think it was Matt Joseph, who snaps, and boy, did they need it. And to be fair, Chris Robotham, they deserved it.
They did deserve it. They've been pressing and pressing and pressing, and they finally get some reward for effort. They've been much improved this second quarter. Clarence have kicked a couple, but one was from right on the boundary, and the second was a coast-to-coast slingshot after Glenorchy dominated possession. But they've been the better team this quarter. They genuinely have. They haven't been able to finish off inside forward 50, but on this occasion, the weight of repeat entries bears some fruit.
Finally get that long overdue reward. McInnes ends it down. Alones. The handballs have been impressive from the Roos today. They'll shift this one wide. Working up the ground is Hanslow. Tyson Hanslow sets it up to the arc of 50. Crowd was lurking. In dispute, Preshaw burrows in for the Roos. Held up at half forward.
Yeah, they've just stiffened things up around the footy in these situations, being able to get hands on it, win clearance, win stoppage, and get a little bit of ball movement and play the way that they want to play rather than being dictated to by Clarence. Free kick here. It'll go Glenorchy's way, and this man's been a big part of it. Callum Thompson been pretty prominent around the footy. Looks to be a neat little player as he sends the ball up the line to a contest. McInnes got hands to it, couldn't bring it down. That with Clarence hands, he's Swinton. This swung by Meredith, couldn't bring him to ground. They remain with the footy, do the Roos inside 50 via the boot of Hanslow. One-on-one contest. Pies managed to bring it to ground. Norton goes in after it. He's wrapped up by Arnold. Brought to ground on this occasion. And then that pressure just continues from Glenorchy. They still trail by a heavy margin, don't get me wrong, but an improved effort.
Much improved effort. Garland opting to just smack it over the top. That was beautifully done to Harper, who runs onto it and kicks another one. Well, when he's not kicking them himself, he's setting him up. Garland has 6, he set up another 2, and his influence continues to be utterly profound.
Harper was just a step ahead, wasn't he? He was onto it before anybody else. He saw the big round arm from Garland, got himself into the right spot, pounced on a loose footy and kicked the goal uncontested.
Perhaps they were conscious of him taking it out of the ruck at that time. Closed ranks around him. That allowed the space for Harper to just sneak out the back as he smacked it over the top.
A bit of reverse psychology, perhaps.
So, ultimately, 3-1 in the quarter, which feels unfortunate for the Magpies. As I said moments ago, they've been the better side this quarter. But Clarence ultimately just getting it done on the scoreboard and both ends of the park. Been a little more efficient. Rainbird has been superb. He has another clearance here. He sends it in. That's going to be a free kick. McCallum tunnelled there all day. That's going to be a free kick as Browning just pushed him underneath the footy. Player of considerable promise, young Tom McCallum. He's got a bright future.
His draft stocks have risen over the past month or so, haven't they? He's widely tipped to be picked up at the end of the year, which is fantastic.
It's been very impressive, as have the Devils, the entire side this season. Putting together a great season. McCallum just gets underneath that kick a little bit. It's offline for a behind. Stem the bleeding a little there in quarter number 2, but the Roos still able to kick 3-1 in return. Extend their lead to 61 points here at half-time.
We encourage you to kick on the ground during the breaks, but please ensure that you enter the arena only through the designated gates. Please do not close the electronic signage, and please
they
no
tightened things
food
up
on the
completely.
ground. Thank you for your
3-1 is
support.
probably a result they would have taken at quarter time, where they got smashed in the opening half an hour of the game. Cole Garland has 6 for the afternoon. He's been the problem, but we spoke about stemming the supply out of the middle of the ground and the bounce off half back, which for the most part of that second term, that's what Glenorchy were able to do. Cameron was really influential in there around the footy, as was Callum Thompson, and that resulted in repeat entries inside forward 50 for Glenorchy, and they were able to only get the one major, but it was certainly an improved showing from the Pies in that quarter. Some goal kickers. Colin Garland, as we've spoke about, has 6 for Clarence. Jacques Barwick has 2. Jared Harper has a couple, and singles to Kieran Howlett and Ruben Tompkins for Glenorchy. Just the 2, and they're both to Matt Joseph, 1 in the first and 1 in the second. Might take a short break from Belgrave Oval, where Clarence hold quite the advantage over Glenorchy going into the second half. 7th place, 16, take a short break.
Hello, coffee. Taste a cup of Banjo's happiness that's just so good. The finest savouries, beautiful bread, sandwiches, iconic pies, delicious sweet treats, baked fresh every day. Good things happen here. They say you can't roll up, but when was the last time you visited Banjo's Bakery Cafe? Maybe you and Banjo's should be a thing today and every day. Banjo's, made for you.
Your local Better are your appliance specialists. With everything from fridges and laundry to TVs, small appliances and much more. Plus, take advantage of our free delivery service within 20 k's of your local Better store. Go local. That's better. Zambrero, old modern Mexican. Slow cooked meats, guacamole made fresh. Making a difference, one plate at a time. It's all part of the Zambrero experience. At Zambrero, it's food that not only tastes good, but makes you feel a bit better. Happiness in a soft tortilla. That's Zambrero.
So we're back here for the third quarter at Blundstone Arena. The home side holding sway by 61 points at the break. And they are just about set to get back underway here. So they resume their charge, and Colin Garland resumes his charge. He's drawn level in the Hudson medal. We'll see if he can add to that here in quarter number 3.
But goes Green, won it down for the Roos. Out of the middle they go. Early possession. The feign handball and then the dribbler up the line. The workout though, no it won't. Handball was missed. And then the boundary throw in near side. And if you're just joining us, the score might not quite reflect the second quarter. Glenorchy were pretty good. They were outscored 3-1. It was the first quarter where the damage was done. Cole Garland kicked 4 of his 6 majors. So straight out of the ruck by the Roos again. Green combines with Rainbird. Now it's Howlett, right boot, inside 50. Where is Garland? He flies and he's just too tall and too strong. And he marks in front of young Josh Meredith, who will probably have to watch this sail over his head for goal number 7. And this is exactly how the first quarter started, with Colin Garland rampaging out of the goal square. So Garland just dabs it through. Nice and easy. He has 7. Clarence extend this lead.
Yeah, they did well in quarter number 2, the Magpies. Fought back around the contest. Would have had more inside 50, slopped the ball inside there, and that's how they slowed Garland down a little there. But when Clarence have got the ball inside forward 50, he has just plucked everything. He has won nearly every contest. Every time the ball's gone near him, he's either scored a goal or set one up. They just have no answer. They don't have a match up to him. The only real remedy they've got to it is to win the ball out of the middle. And Clarence just strolled it right on out of there to start this quarter. Another early goal. They've been starting quick in that regard. So it's going to be the only way they can slow him down. Green against McInnes. He wins decisively. Thompson was really good in quarter number 2. Battling away here. He somehow extracts the football and then scooped it out looking for Jenkins. Couldn't quite find him. They keep the ball in motion. Tackle laid there as Popotny's locked up. Have a ball up forward for the Magpies.
It's been far more efficient this afternoon, Clarence. Been able to move the ball with relative ease and then convert. They get it inside forward 50. They'll try again here. Well, Clarence player in Keegan Ryan, who was hassled by 2 Magpies, but got his kick away inside forward 50. They go again. Here's Garland, got met heavily, and he's been taken high, and a free kick has been awarded. Might have been a little bit of mayonnaise on that one from Colin Garland, but I think it was there, and he'll line up for number 8.
He certainly made sure the umpire saw it, but yeah, I agree. I think it was there, and he's got a chance here for 2 goals in the opening 3 minutes of the quarter.
So Garland, he's not missing that, and he doesn't miss. Number 8 for Colin Garland, as he just holds his head. He was taken high, the arms flailed, and down he went, but the free kick was certainly there. Just a little sloppy from the Glenorchy defender. It gives Clarence their second within the first 3.5 minutes of this third term, and Colin Garland has 8 majors.
So 73 points, and the Hudson medal race is the main narrative and interest point from this point on, really. He started this quarter dead level. He's now up by 2. Doesn't have a game next week. Hines will come back in against North Hobart, so he'd fancy himself for a few next week, I'd imagine. So Garland work still to do this week if he wants to win it. Thompson continuing to battle hard in the middle. Arnold will take it away this time for the Magpies. Kicked it wide. With an arm grab going on there. Away with by Tompkins. Lucky Jordan West not to get that free kick. It was in Potney, sorry. As the umpire will toss it up on centre wing. Green thumps it over the top. Ryan scooped a handball. Umpire spots a free kick. It's going to Ryan. Delay getting back. He'll take the free kick eventually and then just chip one off inside. And finds skipper Harper. Harper floating a risky ball into the corridor. Works out all right as it fell to the feet of Howlett. Swept the handball, trying to dissect a gap that wasn't really there. And the Magpies will bounce off half back through Waite. Chips it up and finds Joseph, who is making sure that Holmes stands on that mark. With authority, Joseph has both his sides goals this afternoon. He sends this one wide to a contest. Fell out the back. Here's a chance perhaps for the Magpies. They'll drive it deep inside forward 50. Play on, says the umpire, looking to bounce off a man's Meredith, then sweeps the handball for Nicholson. The kick was a shocker. I'm sure it was 15, but the mark has been paid to Bealey. Now that was a pretty ugly kick itself that almost lets him Blowfield. Scrappy stuff all around. We'll have a throw in the forward pocket.
Comedy of errors, but Glenorchy did everything right there, and Meredith was excellent. The ensuing kick, though, wasn't great. Should have probably been polished off for a goal. Would have been their best passage of the day by some distance too. They still got a chance. They're inside their forward 50. In it comes. Umpire spins it in. Green gets to the front. Off hands Manson. His kick was smothered. Another boundary throw in. Still in the right forward pocket. 5.5 gone. Third term. Clarence 14-5. Lead Glenorchy 2 goals 4. Can the Magpies conjure? Can they give us a highlight here? Well, Manson attempted something out of mid-air with the foot. It just dribbles back out for another boundary throw-in.
Just opting to compete in the ruck contest with a very highly raised boot there. It's one way of going about it. As Green and Manson will battle it out once more. This throw-in. Shallow throws today. And see what happens here. It's plenty hard on that one. Green takes front position, then handballs it across to Bealey. Harper wants to try and link out of defence. Pre-short cuts back inside, turns into trouble. Got the handball off sharply though. Great handballing here from the Roos, but it just comes unstuck through a fumble through Proprotny. High tackle there is going to be a free kick going the way of the Roos. And just sliding up there. Well, they've been pretty content today to go for the switch across half back. It's not on this occasion though, so we'll drive it down the line instead. Couldn't quite find a mark from Hanslow through his hands. The Magpies take back over. Drive it towards the half forward flank, a floating kick to the favour of Holmes. He's pressured well by Manson. Put the handball away. Really now looking to charge off half back. Did so nicely, works it inside to Proprotny. Proprotny stops and assesses his options further afield. Just chip one through the corridor, not his best kick, floats out behind. McGann under some pressure and he's immediately gathered a strong tackle from Alones.
So they hold things up here at centre-half forward. Clarence searching for their 15th of the afternoon. Colin Garland will be lurking deep. And they get it to him. Out of the ruck, Manson might have been held. Umpire said no. The Pies will come away with it. Ripped off the footy was Meredith. Out it comes now to Harper of the Roos. Shares it with Green. Back to Harper. Left foot ball. Kicks laterally. It's a good kick to McCullum, who marks on his chest. Right on the logo. Centre wing, out of side. He'll send the Roos inside 50. Coming out was Brown. Got a fist to it. It'll be a Glenorchy free kick. Brown was just worked underneath it. So Dominic Brown will go for a bit of a gallop. Likes to play on by hand. It wasn't his finest. He'll receive it back though. Gets around a tackler. They're trying to create something here. Simpson goes in after it. Brown gets his third disposal in the chain. Just elects to kick this time to a contest. Over the back was Baker Smith of Clarence. He can't elude Ben Camrick. He gathered the footy and then he was gathered. Roos will come up with it though. They'll work it out by hand. Here's Holmes. Deep inside defensive 50. Kick to a contest. Not out of the woods here yet, the Roos. Howlett with some time and space. Onto his left. Up the line he goes. And he finds a target. Good mark taken by Wiley.
Wiley punches it inside, always a good user of the football. He found Keegan Ryan, swings it across to his ruckman Sammy Green. Green Gets the ball moving quickly as he sends them inside 50 with a searching kick. Will it sit for Jacques Barwick? He turns onto his trusty right foot. Tried to square it inside, but it was well cut off there by the defender. Barwick with a second chance. He snaps for home for his third of the afternoon. He's offline. Jacques Barwick. He's got great goal senses about him. Just off target on that occasion.
Loving the little flourish from you too, the Jacques,
yeah.
the pronunciation.
Very much my boy, Jacques Barwick. Love what he brings to the table.
With a name like Jacques and a flowing mullet, it's hard not to put a little bit of sauce on the name as the Pies clear defensive 50. It's all Clarence though. Might have been a throw. Umpire said no. Thompson comes up with it, evades a tackler. Clever left foot ball, releases Joseph. Through the middle of the ground they go now, Glenorchy. Wonderful bit of defending, getting back from was Harper. Clarence have it on the outer side now through McCullum, whose short ball is good to Norton. McCullum kept on running, received the handball through the middle, back the other way now go Clarence. And as far as Dominic Brown though, turnover affected. He tries to hit a target in Arnold. He didn't eventually, but Arnold will come up with it. Release Joseph now, who faked one way, cut inside, couldn't quite get around Norton, got his handball away though. Kick from Green, high up and under, inside 50. Nobody able to take a mark. Harper comes through, shrugs a tackle, spots a target. No, he doesn't. Turns it straight over. So Glenorchy still a chance. 65 metres out from goal. All in the arms of Whitford. Kicks a shocker. Beats everybody. Bounces through for a minor score.
The endeavours there from the Magpies this term. The execution just not quite there. Just letting themselves down with their disposal a little. Decision making under pressure. It's the Roos. Reload from fullback once more. Wiley chips a little short one. Out of defence now with a relative ease to Howlett. Karen Howlett drew the man, then flicked it over the top to Harper, who continued his run. He sends them towards half forward. It pitched pretty nicely for Hanslow. Was Silky. He sends them deep inside 50. Is Garland lurking down there deep? No, but Preshaw is. Ollie Preshaw, a very clever player. And forward craft about him. He's been a little bit quiet here this afternoon, Preshaw, has played second fiddle to the likes of Garland and Barwick, but he has a chance to kick a goal. Extend the lead to 79 points. He's had a fine year, has Preshaw. Some real quality in that forward half for this Roos side. So he'll go back from 20 out. Could be regulation, but he drives it into the post. And a minor score only. Lead out to 74.
Yeah, 74 points the margin. The bulk of that damage done in the first term. Glenorchy haven't been too bad since. They haven't dropped the heads. They've adjusted a few things and they've continued to fight. Not class to this stage though. Kick beyond defensive 50. There's a whistle on the play. It'll go Clarence's way. So free kick to Holmes. Just analyses what's in front of him. Goes in a pretty good direction. It's Colin Garland on the fourth bite of the cherry. Couldn't quite reel it in. Still in Clarence' hands though. McCullum might have been held without it. Going in after it was Borsburn. He was taken to ground and deemed to be holding the ball. They'll come away with it here, the Pies, through Thompson. Out of defence they come through the boot of Meredith. His kick is turned straight over and here it's Holmes once again.
So Holmes can reload for the Roos, opts to chip back in, or risky kick, invited danger. Blowfield gets in there, works it to Joseph. Joseph slams it on the boot and drives it in. It's an open 50. But it was a poor kick. Offline, it'll be thrown in the forward pocket. Remember Blowfield chopping that ball off. Clarence just a little too risky through the corridor. Probably a better result than a behind would have been. This gives them the chance to set up here inside forward 50. Trying to find that goal. Pretty good in that respect in the second term, locking the ball inside the forward arc. And they find something here. Green will go unopposed. Able to just work it across to McCallum, who goes to Preshaw. Preshaw sweeps the handball. A touch on its way through. Eventually, Alome's gathered it. They're able to just cruise off half-back under minimal pressure. Nearly thumps it forwards. Tumbling kick towards the half-forward line. It's a foot race into space, and Howlett wins it. Getting back, though, is Nicholson for the Magpies. Has some support in Simpson. Simpson handballing it across, and they've handled the situation pretty well through McGann now. Just taking too long, McGann. And Tompkins run him down. I think the safety of the boundary line bailed him out, but I don't think he was aware of what was bearing down behind him there.
Well, he had Arnold in support. He was just looking for a longer option. Unable to find one, and he was eventually run down. Lucky to just get half a disposal away and force a boundary throw in. So, umpire to do the business. In it comes. Green gets his way to the front. Again, uncontested. Borsboom now. Might have got a high tackle, umpire said no. It was taken pretty heavily, but umpire said play on. Out of the ruck once again go the Roos. Thompson swooped on the loose footy. It eventually came to his teammate Browning. He was taken down illegally by Rainbird. We get a free kick at right half back. Kick towards right half forward. Where a contest forms. That's a good mark taken by Baker Smith. And the second bite beats Meredith to the footy. He goes back inside his defensive 50.
So Swinton in space at half back. Goes back into the corridor. They've not been afraid to do that. There's been certainly an element of risk about their game. Perhaps something they're practicing ahead of Launceston in the finals. An opponent you'd fancy they might need to roll the dice against a little. As this one swung towards half forward, a 2-on-1. The one did pretty well. Gathering it though was Howlett before he was taken in a strong tackle from Roach. Held up. Another stoppage at half forward. And Thompson has been a good battle. Green won it down beautifully. Superb ruck craft that, and they'll go inside 50 once more. It's an ugly looking kick though, not to the favour of Hanslow. Allowed in weight. Keeps it in front of him. Hanslow fighting on for the Roos. Preshaw laying a tackle. And then the umpire says I'll have it. 17 minutes have ticked by. We're at number 3. Colin Garland, 8 goals and 2 ahead in the Hudson Medal race for those playing at home. Rainbird into this one by Camerick, who's been a little bit quieter this term. Preshaw just chips one that's definitely not 15. Well, the umpire said it was. I think the Glenorchy defender quite within his rights to just go the tackle there. Looked at about 10, an absolute most. In the end, the umpire didn't pay the 50. It's a little understanding, and Rainbird ends up with it. He's able to just swing round onto the right and drive it deep. Garland from too deep. Thompson, clear and kick. It's going to just skew out of play. And it'll be a throw in at half forward.
14-7-91, plays 2-5-17. Almost 18 minutes gone in this third term. Clarence well and truly on top. If you're just tuning in, Colin Garland has 8 majors, 8 goals, 4 in fact, for the afternoon. It's the power forward for the Roos. Over the head of the umpire, taken out of the ruck, only as far as Norton of the Roos. A little kick inside in the Harper direction. Just eludes him. Boundary throw in, right forward pocket for Clarence. Locked into a finals berth, of course, the Roos. Still plenty of work to do if they're to knock off the powerhouse that is Launceston. They're getting the job done here at Bellerive. Out of the ruck once more. Garland around the body. Doesn't register a score.
He's done that all day in those 450 ruck contests, Garland. He's just seized it out of the contest. He had himself 4 or 5 shots on goal as a result. Clearing kick to a contest, comes out the back to McCallum. McCallum will just stand this one up and let the guys get to work down there, unable to bring down the mark. Oh, clever from ground level. Borsboom got a handball out. Squaring kick across to Rainbird. Rainbird with time to pick his spot. He obviously just prodded into the pocket, and that's why, because Colin Garland was in space. And just showing the ball to the umpire, suggesting it might be a little bit flat, perhaps. I think would be all that is. Either way, he'll wheel around onto the right and kick his 9th of the afternoon. He is at no. He's kicked it behind. Well, maybe the ball was flat.
Yeah. That was a strange little passage there. I'm not sure what the complaint was from Garland. Maybe the level of inflation in the ball. He didn't get the connection he would have liked around the corner, that's for sure. He missed an opportunity for his 9th. So pack forms here at power forward. Arnold on the bottom of the pack. Smith emerges. Umpire will toss it up. Well, up it goes. Green and McInnes. Green decisive. Webster might have been held without the footy. Umpire said he was, so it'll come back. It'll be a Glenorchy free kick. Handful of jump up. So here's Webster, one way then the other. Can't get around McCullum though. He's been absolutely hunted down by Tom McCullum. You can't be doing that. Kick inboard was a scrappy one. They don't quite punish the Pies. Camerick applies the tackle. We'll have a stoppage inside the centre square, but always ambitious, taking on a player of the athleticism of Tom McCullum. Webster paid the price. Free kick here. This will go the way of the Roos. Infringement in the ruck contest. So Green. Where's Garland? Inside 50. Go the Roos. Well, it wasn't Garland in the end. And mark has been taken. Pre-short.
Just catching the defence by surprise. They were so preoccupied with Garland. Pretty sure able to sneak across and take it. Try and extend the lead to 81 points.
Only pre-short. Kick for Clarence's 15th major of the afternoon. And efficient going forward, it has to be said. 14-8. So pre-short from about 40 metres out. Slide angle, no worries whatsoever for Ollie Pre-short. Straight over the umpire's hat. Clarence extend their margin.
81 points now, the lead for the Roos. Pretty easily, and Pre-short now starting to get in on the scoring act. There's certainly been plenty of supply. They've on the ball a little bit more here in the third term, and when the ball's got down there, the Magpies defence has not had the answers this afternoon. So back to the middle. So Marine playing as the lone ruck today. Wade Ball was in support last week. Solo this afternoon, doing a pretty good job of it. It's a good tank to Green, really covers the ground. Covers nearly every blade of grass out there. He's up against McInnes here. McInnes did pretty well. Rainbird first hands to it. Just keeping it out in front of himself. Pre-short cracks in. He's gathered by Thompson. Umpire calls for it. Green once more, won it down, straight to the opposition though. Rainbird just stretching to make the tackle, impact the contest. He goes in and wins it out. Got it to Ryan. They sweep it out the back of the contest. Switching kick, not a great one. And out for a throw in on centre wing.
15-8-98 plays 2-5-17. It's well and truly on top. They've led from go to woe. Glenorchy looking to fight this one out though. So out of the ruck contest, Green was just hassled by Thompson. Didn't get into his back. McInnes arrived. Made the tackle. Another ball up. By Mark Tuckett arrives on the scene. Up it goes. Green wins it down straight to Rainbird. Tackle applied by Thompson. Rainbird's been excellent this afternoon. He's had his troubles with concussion over the journey and missed a fair bit of football over the years, but Good to see him back and playing some good footy this afternoon against his former side. Thompson's handball just missed the mark. Green at ground level, dragged off it by McGuinness. Elude all comers and result in another boundary throw-in.
He's a talented kid, Green, but would have done well to get the kick away there from the ground. He gave it his best. Surprising not to just go the handball. Back in once more. McInnes beats him on this occasion. Rainbird again laying a tackle. He's been terrific in and under today. There's Mitch Rainbird. There's another tackle there. Premier data ranking points, so I'd have to think he's going to be right up there this afternoon. As this one's taken another strong tackle laid this time. Keegan Wiley pushing up the ground. Back in the contest and being rewarded too. Holding the football, says the umpire. So Keegan Wiley, usually a very good user of the football. And just punches this one. The arc of 50, just pitched down in front of his teammate there in pre-shaw, was clean at ground level and then got dealt with after he got rid of the football. So he'd get the free kick. Harper continues his run, ignores that, and instead opts to just square it back into the corridor. Alones. There's Garland. He drives it deep, searching for him, almost brings it down. The snap-on goal from Borsboom won't have the requisite journey, and Blake White take over for the Magpies.
So even with the 3 defenders mobbing Garland, they're still happy to kick it in his direction because he's going to at least bring it to ground like he did on that occasion. White clears defensive 50. Guinness over the top, was roved well by his opposing ruckman in green. Got it off to Wiley, snap inside 50. Good mark taken by Meredith. With the Pies here at left half back. The football up the line, kick to a contest. End up in Clarence hands. Green's been very prominent, it has to be said, this afternoon. Cullen takes the mark. Has been very good also. You can see why AFL clubs are very interested. Inside 50, go the Roos. Pack will form. Good defensive mark taken by Waite, who's okay this afternoon. Shares it with Meredith. Gets boots the ball fairly quickly. It's an ordinary kick. Turns it straight over to Baker Smith. There is the three-quarter time silence. Well and truly in front here. They lead 98-17. Goal kickers at the end of the third term. Well, Colin Garland has 8. Jared Harper has 2. Howlett has 1. Jacques Barwick has a couple as well. Ruben Tompkins has 1 for the home team. Matt Joseph, the solitary goal kicker for Glenorchy, he has 2 for the Pies. Clarence still well and truly on top here, but Glenorchy showing at least something, aren't they, Drewy?
Yeah, they fought back pretty well in that quarter. It was starting to minutes. Garland kicking another 2 inside the first 3 minutes of the term. We thought this could get very ugly indeed, but they brought the pressure back. They fought well on the contest. The foot skills have let them down today, I think it's fair to say. Really been using the ball particularly effectively, and they have been able to win it. It's hurt them all afternoon. Certainly they've just had a bit of work to stop this Clarence forward line when they've got the supply, but certainly done a lot better around the contest. Since quarter time, they've pulled back in that regard. Clarence pretty content with the way things are going, and just the 1 quarter now left for them in the regular season before the bye, then another week off, and then it's finals for them. So just the 30 minutes left here. I'd imagine there won't be too much taking the foot off the pedal, given they're not going to play for another fortnight.
Yeah, I was going to say there, the bye throws in an interesting spanner into the works, because you want to continue to run out the game, but it's a game that you're going to win and win comfortably. The last thing you want is for Colin Garland to do a knee or a shoulder or a hamstring or something in the final minutes when the game is dead and there's no use of him being out there, despite being well and truly in the hunt for the Hudson medal. So I wonder how Clarence approach it. Do they just go full tilt, try and put the foot down and get as much as they possibly can out of this final quarter, knowing that they've got a week off and then into finals, or do they maybe rest a few the more experienced campaigners in this last term and move the magnets around a little bit. I'm not too sure. On the other side of the scale, Glenorchy, they've just got to keep fighting and keep punching, don't they? See if they can land one. It's been a long, dark year for them. It's going to be over very, very soon. They just need to milk whatever they possibly can out of this last quarter, whether it's just winning a contest or setting up a goal or providing a defensive spoil that saves a goal, whatever it might be. Just those little moments that you can take into a pre-season for next year and continue to roll on for next year. But they need to find something to take out of this game. It can't just be for nothing getting thumped by 100 points.
Yeah, certainly. I think they've got that certainty with the coaching appointment for next year now confirmed with Aaron Cornelius, and I suspect it'll just be, show me why you should be in my plans for next season. Show me something. I'm going to assess the list these next couple of weeks, see what we've got to build with, but prove that you should be in my plans for next year. Show me what you've got, and yeah, maybe experiment a little bit with a few players in different roles. Obviously, the results and the wins were really going to be on the agenda for today. We've been a pretty optimistic approach to think they would have won this one, but there's lessons they can take, and they're getting a first-hand lesson from a very good football team in Clarence here today of the standards that are required to be competing for finals in this league.
Well, the major difference has been the presence of a big power forward for Clarence. Colin Garland's kicked 8 goals. Aside from that, someone else might have filled the void if he wasn't there, but 8 goals for he's kicked. That's largely the difference between these two teams. So if Glenorchy can do some recruiting in the off-season and find somebody that can, have a 50 or 60 goal season for them and provide a real target up forward, then all of a sudden things start to look all right. I think they've got some okay pieces, to be honest, going forward. They can convince if Ben Cameron can hang around and get through this sort of tough time and maybe be convinced to stay and be part of a regeneration at Glenorchy. That'd be probably the first box to tick. I'm not sure what his contract status is. He's probably locked in already. And a couple of their other kids, I haven't minded what I've seen from McInnes. I think he's one that's providing a little bit in the ruck for Glenorchy. Blake Waite has been okay, and Callum Thompson through the midfield as well. If they get a couple of midfielders and a couple of key position players, top of the list would be a forward, and maybe they can climb out of the hole sooner rather than later, the Pies. But at the moment, it's all learning and trying to take something out of these heavy losses.
Yeah, I think the other aspect is you can get a couple of midfielders, you can keep Camerick in the forward line. We've seen today he's been pretty good around the ball, but because he's been moved on to the ball, they just haven't had that threat in the forward line today. He's carried the forward line this season. He's been nearly the entire threat they've had week to week. So when he moves onto the ball, they kick it down there. They just don't seem to have a player who can win a big one-on-one.
No.
It's been dominant from Baker Smith to Keegan Wiley. They've won the one-on-one duels all afternoon. Camerick's a player who can win a one-on-one in forward 50, but they've had to sacrifice that because they were getting obliterated down the middle in quarter number 1.
And it's the domino effect as well. If you get a big forward, he takes the best defender, and then your second best forward takes the second best defender, and so on and so on. At the moment, your best midfielder is playing forward and also taking your best defender. So it has the knock-on effects, which affects your entire back six, and that flows on throughout your whole team. So, it only takes 2 or 3 pieces to arrest that change, and you hope that Glenorchy can find them. They're a big, proud, famous club going through a patch at the moment, but I'm sure they can turn it around with a couple of tweaks. Clarence, on the other hand, have been magnificent today. I think they've been really good, and as we sort of spoke about before the game, this was largely a box tick for them. They were always going to be heavily favoured to win. They're doing the job. We talk about Colin Garland being the difference, but you still got to get it to him. You still got to. Your midfield still has to work hard to provide him the opportunities, and they've done so. And the run of half back, and Tom McCullum, what a luxury coming in from the Devils and playing a real role this afternoon as well. Of like Grant in the ruck, and they've just got a core of players that have stuck together for 5 or 6 seasons, and that is what Glenorchy will be hoping to emulate as we see the commencement of the fourth and final quarter here at Bellerive, and there is Green winning the first clearance. Handball out to a teammate. Clarence hands on near wing now. Camerick lost it over the top. Rainbird just patted it forward to Norton, wrapped up by Meredith. Got the hands free, gave it back to Rainbird. Touch number, it'd have to be 35 plus, I reckon. Garland direction was he worked underneath the footy. Umpire said no, couldn't get hands to it. Back of the pack now, Preshaw went low, took the legs out of his opponent. Umpire said play on. Eventually the whistle came. So ball up. I know the free kick was paid. Beg your pardon. The Bars will come away with it. Clearing kick beyond defensive 50.
Callum there. He's also conceded a free kick, so make weight. That's okay. He's waiting going to fall. Blundstone Arena. Wait. Shifts one over the top. Really working hard for it. Nicholson did. Not quite enough, says the umpires, to take the mark. Sliding in. He's done no favours by that kick from Blake Waite. Toss back into play on centre wing. Green, I mentioned moments ago, been so impressive in the ruck all afternoon for Clarence. A lot to like about him as a prospect. He loses this one though, as it's just blasted forwards for the Magpies. Helped on there by Arnold. Going in was Protney. He was claimed in a tackle. Camerick. It's the stoppage. Forwards. Interesting to see what the approach is with Garland in this final term for the Roos. There have been a few last quarters this year where they've just sat him on the bench for almost the entire quarter just to keep their race fresh. But with the Hudson medal, perhaps he'll stay out there today as this one's worked back around the corner. Spoiled by Rainbird, another who's been so outstanding, knocking that one away from Nicholson.
He's a fairly headstrong character, Colin Garland, so it'll be interesting to see if he, what the call is and how big a say in it he has. I'm sure he will have some say. If he's feeling good, he'll probably decide to stay out there despite the wishes of others. If he's feeling so good, then he might come and sit on the bench. Green trucks it to the boundary, can't get the handle, and out it goes.
You'd imagine the 2-week break is going to make it more likely he's going to stay out there.
You'd think so, and with a good personal accolade to be won and potentially 2 or 3 or 4 goals to be kicked, I would think there wouldn't be too much harm or risk in him staying out there. His rain tumbles here at Bellerive. A scrappy last turn, you feel. Camerick sees it over. Another boundary throw-in. Minutes gone, 15:8.98, plays 2:5.17. It's well on top. Let's go at it. Came Harper, big body, just shrug tackles all day, Jared Harper. Set out in front of Rainbird, who gathers the loose footy. Now it's Norton, just throws it on the boot. Around the body he goes, towards half forward, and eludes Blofield. And another boundary throwing.
Well, the foot skills haven't been outstanding here today, and I can't think the weather's going to make that any better here in the final term. We might be in for a bit of a physical slug and a lot of stoppages here. Final term starting to rain quite steadily now. 81 points the margin. Green went early, still got a hand to it, knocked it down. Nicholson first to it. Over the top, Camerick lurking. There too was Norton for the Roos, worked it to Harper. Harper sends his kick to half forward. Getting a hand to it down there alone. He's out the back now. Beerley stuck forward, gave the handball to Hanslow. Hanslow thought about the shot, but then he spied Garland and said, gotta give it to the big fella, and sets him up for a glorious chance for number 9.
Yeah, you can't do much about that as defender. The kick was actually good. It looked ugly sort of off the side of the boot, but it was to the advantage of Garland, his left-hand side, and all he had to do was just push off and take an easy chest mark and bang it through for number 9.
Number 16 for his side, and the speed with which he just went back and took that shot suggests to me he's looking to fill his boots in quarter number 4, Phil Garland.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he sees 10 plus. Who can blame him? He's been on fire all afternoon. He's got a match-up he loves. The ball's coming in.
At the start of the day, 6 goals behind. He's now 3 ahead of Hines. This is his final quarter of action. Hines against a North Hobart team who have shipped 120 points through 3 quarters to the Northern Bombers today, which suggests Garland might need a few more yet if he's going to hold on to that accolade. Certainly the main focus of this one now is that one's flipped up there. Ryan in the middle. Back, it's bar of soap at the moment, the football, with this rain tumbling down, just thumping it off the deck. Keegan Ryan got some yardage, got it to Hanslow. Hanslow with some good hands. Sweeps it over to Ballsboom, but it was picked off by Nicholson. He spots a man in the middle, and that was West. West keeps it moving, chips it up there for Bailey Jenkins. Ryan coming in from his blind spot, almost got the spoil. He drives it deep. Oh, really nicely done in defence there. James Holmes. They've really done well, the Clarence defence today. And again, they kill that one.
Yeah, terrific defender is James Holmes. For a long time, it's Clarence outfit. It's McCullum, speaking of good young defenders. Kick up the line is a good one. Here's Barwick, gets under his right boot. They're getting it moving here. Clarence has got a teammate out wide. Inside forward 50 they go. Garland direction, going back, takes the mark. And the 10-pack is on.
He has plucked it nearly every time they've been able to move the ball at speed today. Get him one-on-one. He ain't losing.
Wet footy, no dramas for Colin Garland, who ambles on in, kicks on goal, and he gets it. So 10 of the best for Colin Garland, and 6.5 minutes into this 4th and final term, still a few more in the back pocket, I would imagine.
He leads by 4. He's throwing down the gauntlet to Hines at the moment, is Garland. And these teammates of his have shown they're just going to try and get it to him every possible chance. And there's not too much the defence can do when the ball comes in at that speed. Belying the conditions, the build up to that goal, really. The speed and skill with which they moved it off half-back. Up to 92.
Yeah, that was dry weather footy, 100%. Very well worked by Clarence, and now they're still getting Garland in 1 outs. So close to goal, I'm not too sure, but they'll go again here. Norton scraps one out towards the outer side. Foot races on. Hanslow gets low for Clarence. And eventually, will he come up with the footy? It was brilliantly done. Handball just missed Ryan. He went in after it, paddled it out. Here's Blowfield coming through, dragged off his kick by Bealey, holding the ball.
Where is he?
Clarence free kick. Look at the eyes just darting. Where's the big forward? Harper tapped the footy hard. Forces it over for boundary throwing.
I'm not sure Cole Garland could have worse conditions in this final term, granted, with the big man. It is teeming down right now.
It is.
But we've seen him on around about 6 occasions today just take it out of the ruck contest and have a shot. Will he do it again against Meredith? It's a little palm down this time instead. Howlett works it back. Snap kick from the pocket, floating towards the top of the square. Arm wrestle developing there. Loams, but bouncing away from him was Blowfield. Just tumbles it along the deck to clear defensive 50. A pretty clever kick that in the end from Blowfield. Didn't have much on. Brilliantly kept in by Swinton. Did it nicely. Ballsboom back inside. A little fumble from Wiley. Next caught in the back. Back to Swinton. Just palms off the defender and then chips it forward. And he finds Ryan. Ryan has one thought on his mind. It's Garland again. Was he infringed? He was. The umpire gives him. He plays on and kicks number 11. He leads by 5.
Well, he was infringed, but once again, he made sure the umpire saw it.
Yes.
The arms went wide. He's got a long wingspan, as Colin Garland, so every time he puts the arms out, it catches the eye. Number 11. Well, he had a kick 4 in very quick succession to start the game. There was a little bit of a lull throughout the middle part of the fixture, but he's exploded in this 4th and final term. Is that 3 for the term?
Yeah.
It might be. That's right, he had 8 till 3/4 time. So 3 for the quarter takes him to 11 majors. We're only 9.5 minutes gone. So what the line is for Colin Garland, 12 or 13 perhaps. Continue to look for him, and there's another chance here. Preshaw kicks forward. Skids out of bounds.
has been unstoppable. His teammates, that is clearly the directive here. We've got this game on. We're 2 weeks away from finals. Let's just try and get him the Hudson medal if we can. Do not take a shot on goal if you see Colin Garland. Get the ball to him. Another ruck contest. He's profited from these situations, but just plays the role of ruckman this time. Takes it down. Tackle laid by Baxter Norton. And another stoppage. And watch out again for Garland. He might just be eyeing off the dozen if he can get rid of his marker. Again, the more conventional ruck work on this occasion. Nicholson does well to juggle the mark in slippery conditions. He takes the quick quickly. It's a up and under into space. Wasn't a great one. Picked off by Swinton. The ball getting increasingly more difficult to gather though. And in the end, the stoppage is forced.
It's bucketing down at Belrive. Hammering down. It doesn't do Cole Garland's Hudson medal hopes any favours, but he does have a handy lead. He has 11 for the afternoon. Clarence are up by 98 points in the wet. It's been a pretty miserable old day for the Pies. Miserable old year, it has to be said. Yet to win a game. Snap that duck this afternoon, that's for sure. Off the ground, Egan Ryan scoops it up in the Swinton direction. Bouncing ball, loses his footing. Underground handball, as far as weight to keep it in and by a second. You can just hear that rain thundering down through the mics. Wet weather footy at Belrive. Just to add a bit of insult to injury for Glenorchy. Goes Green, slaps it down in front of Ryan. One way, then the other. Kick around the body. High ball towards half forward. Underneath it was Preshaw. Free kick. Just worked his opponent underneath the footy. So off half back go the Pies through Blowfield towards half forward. Able to take it on the second bite was Green. Would apply the tackle and have a stoppage on the outer side.
We approach the halfway mark of the term. 98 points. He's holding sway by. The Magpies will go forward on this occasion though, and they've found a man in some space there. Roach in just pretty freedom. He's saying Holmes on my line, but there is a teammate there. And we're going to get the 50, and this might be the easiest kick here for Liam Roach given the current state of the weather. Clarence may well be happy to concede it though, because it'll get the ball back to the middle and mean they can potentially get it inside 50 a little quicker. Might not mind conceding this one. So Roach, it's a tough kick from 40 out. And he's hung it out left for just to behind. Swinton just stumbling there. It is getting mighty slippery out there. It is pouring down here at Blundstone Arena. Raining absolute buckets and raining goals for Colin Garland. If you're just tuning in, he has 11. Leads the Hudson medal by 5. Unopposed goes Lyons. Couldn't bring the mark down though. Harper swung it out to Paprotny. Paprotny goes into the corridor. Pretty nicely done by Holmes in the end. Fisted cleverly to Preshaw, who was clean. His kick will just come down with snow on it. In the end, Bealey's been swung forward, couldn't quite mark. Garland's lurking. Can he get to this contest? Not quite. Oh, that's a bit of the old horse collar, as they call it in the NFL. High tackle, free kick to the Magpies.
Oh, I just saw out of the corner of my eye, Garland just grab at a hamstring. I hope not.
Oh, no.
I hope my eyes were deceiving me, but it was just a little half grab. Can't spy him coming from the ground just yet, so maybe he's okay. Hopefully he is. Webster for Glenorchy, up the line he goes. Still contests. Ground level now, the Pies fight hard for it. He'll kick out of the congestion. As far as Wiley though, he'll go across the ground. Clarence have done this all day long. The switch. Holmes on the end of it. He's been involved in plenty of it. Into the middle. Go the Roos. Preshaw now. Short one over the top. Hands low. Kicks to right half forward. He's got a runner going forward in Preshaw. Well, the handball was a little casual to Bealey. It's picked off by the Glenorchy defender. Joe yet here, the Pies. The kick is very scrappy, very clumsy. Meredith will eventually come up with it. A little bit of time and space and enough to, well, he hit the target, but the target dropped the mark. While he comes up with the footy, spearing ball inside 50 is a beauty. Preshaw has a man all on his own. And he'll hit the target. And Clarence will kick for their 19th of the afternoon.
They might. They might. We'll wait and see, Rowan. We'll wait and see. He does look like he's set to take it. He's gone back a long way, though, just to allow the possibility of a pass, I think.
So sends it goalward. It's Missy to the far side, so minus score. Glenorchy ball out of the goal square, just off the side of the boot, on the bounce. Taken by Browning. He's claimed to have a ball up. Left half forward for the Roos.
Great tackle that from Ryan. So easy to get in the back from that position. Did really well just to not give away the free kick and hold him up. So ruck contested half forward by the Magpies. Ball in dispute there. Tompkins couldn't quite gather it. Towards the wing. Will that be sufficient intent? And perhaps factoring conditions into account there. Centre winger to be thrown back into play. 98 points the lead. And 5 goals to lead to Garland in the Hudson Medal race. Inside forward 50. And Esu, it's Garland. Well, it's it for him. He'll go off the deck. Oh, he almost made an absolute hash of it, but he got boot to ball. And it's a dozen in the deluge for Colin Garland. And that was as scrappy as it get. He could not have made it harder for himself. But the non-preferred boot got the last touch. He has 12. He leads by 6.
He missed the ball that he meant to kick, and then he kicked it when he didn't mean to kick it.
But it's your day, Chris Rowbottom.
Well, 12 majors this afternoon. That was not the best of them, I have to say. And that's probably, yeah, if you had to rank all his goals of the season, that's probably way down the bottom. I don't know how he managed to actually put that through, but somehow got a toe to it, uncontested off the deck with the slippery ball. All's well that ends well. Doesn't matter where you kick them from. That's goal number 12 for Colin Garland. This lead now out to 104 points. It's an absolute shellacking here at Bellerive. Side 50 go, Glenorchy. Double fist comes across from Tom McCullum, who's been impressive today. No doubt about it.
I'm sure there'll be a few scouts tuning in to be watching his performances in AFL club land. He's got the tools and he's got a physical frame he's only going to grow into. That will make him even more of a weapon, you'd imagine. 104 points the margin here for Clarence. Garland with a dozen. Thompson for the Magpies. Handball away. Whitford sends it into the pocket. Numbers with the Roos. Wiley eventually able to gather. Norton does so too. He spun around, just got rid of it in time to Wiley. Indecision initially, and then went looking for Green. And scored it away from him.
He's been good today, Wiley. Plenty of the footy, used it reasonably well. Part of that core of Clarence guys that have just been there for 6 or 7 seasons now and have that chemistry that the good teams have. Every throw in. Taken straight out of the ruck by Green. Handball was errant. Plucked off by Waite. Green went in after it again. Ended up in Glenorchy hands. Inside 50 go the Pies. Able to hit a target. Brotney gets back. Eludes a tackler. Elects to switch the footy all the way across the ground. Not out of the woods yet here. The Roos. Tackle is applied by Whitford. Over the boundary line it goes. Game well and truly over. We are on Colin Garland watch. He has 12 for this afternoon. He's taken the lead in the Hudson Medal with the bye to come.
Jake Hines, one game to go.
Hello, Jake, if you're watching.
Suspended today, of course. Sitting at home after a little whack on Baker Smith. He's Garland's teammate last week, which has left the door ajar. And boy, has Garland charged through. There's some Magpies on the attack for the time being, though. West sends it inside, towed forward. And it's going to be kicking in danger, I reckon, the decision there. A little more latitude on wet days, but it's a little dicey. Speaking of dicey, that was a terrible kick. Turned it straight over. Whitford's gathered, though, and he's going nowhere.
Have to have a squeeze at the State League record books. I think of too many balls close to 12 over the journey. Colin Garland has the dozen this afternoon. Here's Barwick for the Roos, clearing defensive 50. Maybe wanted to get out the back, but Simpson did well to trap it and eventually force a boundary throw in.
I'll have to send that query to Dave Ingram. He's the man for such queries. He's usually all over those kind of statistical and historical records. Toss back in. Meredith now in the ruck against Green. Green won it down. Swinton didn't quite get rid of it legally. The free kick will go the way of the Magpies. They'll look to move it quickly. They send it inside forward 50. Can they find a marking target down here? No, it's picked off at the back. Wiley sweeps it over the top. By hand, they look to link out of defence, but this one stay in. Swinton, not quite, or Howard, sorry. Coming through Tompkins, and he's escorted out of play by Webster. Maybe 3 minutes left here. Time enough for a 13?
Yeah, 3 or 4 minutes. Certainly time for the Bakers dozen. Cole Garland. So how many would that give him in terms of the lead?
He's 6 ahead at the moment.
He's 6 ahead, so he goes 7 ahead, meaning Hines would need 8 to win it outright. Big tackle away. Swinton just emerging very gingerly. Caught one on the snout, I think. For his troubles. Never good in the cold and wet. His sting a little bit more. So shot on goal here. He's missing the lot in fact. So no score registered. Clarence lead 19-9, 123 to 2-7-19 the Pies. It's been one-way traffic the entire afternoon. Glenorchy have fought hard in patches, but lack the class of the Roos this afternoon as it goes out. The bounds once more for another boundary throw in. As we tick closer to full time. Colin Garland has 12 majors.
It's at the right end of the ground as far as Mr. Hines is concerned. Walked in the Magpies forward 50 for the time being. With a margin at 104 points, we've kind of had to find our own narrative here this afternoon, and boy, has Colin Garland produced. Here's Blake Wade, who snuck forward. Can he get a rare goal? Blake Wade off the side of the boot. A minor score only.
He thought about the left foot there, didn't he, Wade? But then realised he had a bit of time and space and tried to square up onto his right boot and go with the outside of the shoe, but wasn't to be. In from fullback come the Roos. Can they get a breakaway here? To the back of Preshaw. A free kick going his way. Been pretty good today too. Both Preshaw boys. He's Norton. Off half back. Weighted ball is good over the top. Can they get it inside forward 50? Paprotny onto his right boot. At right half forward, he progresses things by 35 metres. Preshaw. This is going to Colin Garland, I can guarantee you. What
are you doing, Carl?
It ended up with Garland and he passed it off.
Oh, the team instincts have kicked in and he's passed it.
Scenes. Now is not the time to be passing it off. Cole Garland with 12 under the belt. Passed it off to Bealey, who puts it through for another major to the Roos. That kick, goal number 20 of the afternoon. Colin Garland just missed what happened off the back of that pack, whether he took the mark or not, but
He'd been paid the free.
there was a whistle, so it was a mark or a free kick. Could have easily gone back and kicked number 13. 13, in the words of Anthony Hudson.
It was so on. And I'll tell you what, that does speak about the club culture they've got here, though. Forget that. Everyone to James Bealey for what I presume is his first goal in TSL football.
Yeah, and there's a little sub-story to that, I would have thought, and probably why Cole Garland elected to pass it off. If it was Jared Harper or Baxter Norton running forward, I don't think they would have received the same treatment. Still time, though. Still time here at Bellerive for a 13th for Colin Garland. Henslow can't quite get the handle. He's got time and space. Eventually goes with the one hand, gets it to Norton. The kick wide. Now Wiley over the top. Here he goes. Hits a target. Ryan. He's on centre wing near side. Inside 50. Go the Roos. Here's Colin Garland in a one-on-one. Was he held by Don Brown? Umpire said no. It's going to skim all the way over the back. Touch ball. It goes through for a minor score.
Oh,
there was a little grab of the jumper, wasn't there?
Little grab, I think, Rowie. There was a little fistful of jumper. Not to be on that occasion. It's 110 points to the margin. Garland remains on 12. They clear defensive 50. It might come right back in. Is there a hand on that? Just a hand from Waite before it crossed the line. It would have been pumped right back in there. In the dying embers of this one. Colin Garland with 12. To come from 6 goals behind to 6 in front in the Hudson Medal race. He does not play next week, so he's got seconds left to try and find a 13th. Roos get another one down there. The handball to Proprotny. Oh, well smothered there by West. But it's going to come along anyway. Gathered by Loams. Just gave it back to Proprotny. Proprotny now sends it in. Where's Garland? There he is. Oh, spoiled away from it at the last second. Great defensive effort, just in the nick of time. Whitford, clearing kick to the middle of the ground. The Roos looking to take back over. Wiley's been mighty this afternoon. Just hesitating a little. McCallum wanted to be the second mouse to get the cheese. That's why he got it. They're going here. He now scoops one over the top. They go backwards to Norton. Now Wiley. Wiley tumbles one forwards. And the mark is taken. It was gathered by Preshaw. He's got to move it quickly. Time is running out here. Preshaw will drive it deep. He's in the square. There's still one more kick away. He's just waiting for it out back. Just waiting, hoping they can get it to him. Charging through Hanslow. But he's held up by Manson.
He's coming up to contest the ruck contest. Unselfish again. The double palmer down to Harper, who kicks across goal. Good mark taken by Preshaw. He'll hold things up.
Here he comes.
He's lurking around the back. Is Garland. They've given it to him too. Does he put it through? He has. 13 for Colin Garland in bizarre circumstances. Loose checking from Glenorchy. He was the obvious candidate. He received the handball. Unselfish from Preshaw. He was owed one, mind you, Colin Garland, after giving the last one off. But a baker's dozen for Garland. 13-13, in the words of Anthony Hudson. And he gets another onto the tally, and you would think the Hudson medal, I won't say it's sewn up, but he's done absolutely everything within his power to do so, as Colin Garland. 13 majors this afternoon, extraordinary.
Well, he's got a lead of 7. Oh, please tell me he's just been slung off the ball. He's about to get a free kick here. I think there might have been a 666 warning there. Looking at that, if he throws it up, we'll know that's the case. We should be throwing up on a day like this anyway. Green up against McGuinness in the ruck. Fumbling it was Wade. Good tackle laid by Preshaw. Spills out. Ryan ran past it. Slung off, it was Green. Into space, just towed further ahead by Roach. Keegan Wiley working it towards the boundary line. And showed some good poise to keep it in. Find he's targeting Keegan Ryan. He keeps it moving quickly to Barwick. Barwick swings them forward once more. They go towards the arc of 50. Preshaw, the tackle. Strong one, and they'll lock it in. And force another stoppage.
Could be a 14th here, could there, Drew?
The siren sounds and brings an end to an utterly dominant display from Colin Garland and Clarence. The Roos win this one by 116, but the big story is Colin Garland. He's kicked 13 goals to come from 6 back and give himself a 7-goal lead in the Hudson Medal race. It's over to you, Jake Hines.
We had to find something to get excited about during this fixture. It was a dead rubber. Clarence locked into finals. Glenorchy unable to play finals, of course, haven't won a game all year. And Colin Garland didn't disappoint. He kicked 13 goals. He had 8 in three-quarter time, 5 in that exciting last quarter. Gave one off, but then received one dutifully, which was good to see. Puts him 7 ahead in the Hudson Medal race over Jake Hines. The result here at Belrive is Clarence, huge winners, 116 points, 116 to 20. As we mentioned, Colin Garland kicked 13, Harper 2, Bartlett 2, Tompkins 1, just the 2 from the both coming from the boot. Matt Joseph dominant from the first bounce to the final side.
Yeah, and a day of thumping wins around the TSL and other results. Launceston thumping the Tigers, little undermanned the Tigers, and we wonder if there are a few cards being kept up his sleeve. But 114 to 36 there. And meanwhile, in a result that will probably give hope to Jake Hines, North Launceston have just shot with a lazy 170 past North Hobart. They win 170 to 48. Now that's significant for another reason. That's a huge percentage boost for them. They needed a big win. They've got Glenorchy next week. They're trying to catch the Southern Bombers. They'll make up a massive sway the percentage on them with that victory. And suddenly it may well be a situation where Lauderdale now have to win next week against the Tigers to make finals. North Launceston will need to win big against the Magpies. The stage has been set for a really exciting final day. We've got narratives developing everywhere, Chris Robot.
Yeah, it's great to see some storylines in the TSL going into the final round of the season and then into finals with that finals last spot in the 5 up for grabs. Fantastic to see. It's been a competitive season. The top end has been pretty strong in Launceston. The bottom end has been pretty poor in Glenorchy, but all through the middle of the competition has been pretty good all year. A team like Clarence, they playing the minnows this afternoon, but if they can get that running game going off half back, work to do against Launceston. They're hot favourites, but
certainly. It's kind of an occasion where there wasn't a heap to gain here today beyond the goals to Garland. They've avoided injuries. They've put in a good performance. They showed their ball movement was sharp. They're looking good. And I suspect they'll either await maybe the process by the final. As we see who that's going to be, it's going to be really interesting next weekend. They can sit back, they're done for the regular season plans. They have the bye next week, they'll sit by and watch this. But I thought they acquitted themselves well today. The Magpies, they fought hard, they had a good quarter number 2. They were impressive in that second term. Probably had the better of play. I think it was 3 goals to 1 the end result though for the Roos. But really outside of that second term, this was as dominant as you'll see from the Roos.
Yeah, it certainly was a dominant win, a box-tick win for Clarence. It was interesting in those last couple of contests with Garland. It was Dominic Brown who was the defender on Garland. He actually spoiled the ball away a couple of times, and maybe that was the matchup all along. I know it was a wet footy and whatnot, and maybe I'm clutching at straws a little bit, but who knows. That concludes the afternoon of coverage from Belrive, Blundstone Arena, where Clarence has run out 116-point winners over their old foe Glenorchy. Colin Garland kicked 13 majors, 5 of them coming in the final quarter in the wet. He holds a 7-goal lead in the race for the Hudson Medal. Jake Hines will have his right of reply next week. Clarence have the bye. and their season is done, or their regular season at least, as they await finals. That's all from us, though, from Bellerive. Drew, it was fun in the end, wasn't it, with Colin Garland providing the entertainment?
It was. We got quite the show. It was the Colin Garland show, and it sets the stage for a really interesting week. There's now a really interesting storyline across all three of the games.
That's all from us. Clarence, 116-point winners. That's all from us from Bellerive.